Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection with your hosts, Minette Lawrence and Percival Palmer. Good morning to the crew in the house, Mr. Producer. Good morning. And Mr. Engineer. Good morning. Morning, Pastor.
Hi, morning. How are you today?
I am much better. Still warmly dressed, but I am much better. Good morning to all of the listeners who have joined us online and on air. You know that it is your presence that makes the show complete. So I thank you for tuning in, especially the early risers. Gets pretty lonely here, but there are one or two persons, mostly um, from Canada, who
Morning from Canada.
who join us in the early morning. We thank you for the company. Well, it is Wednesday, the 9th of February, 2022. This is the morning when we go to the Lord in prayer for the nation. It's just one of the things we do that has become part of the routine. And we are grateful for Pastor Percival's diligence in putting us before the throne where we cry out for mercy. Um,
Mercy is always available
yeah, and when you cry
for
out for
those
it,
for those who will
avail themselves
avail
of it.
themselves and
Mhm.
take it this morning. Good morning to those who are out there in Radio Land. Good morning to those who are listening um ra- via radio or on Facebook or YouTube watching us with our usual happenings in the studio. And I didn't know that our persons who are watching us live online are taking note of everything that is happening. I found it funny yesterday when one of our viewers online said to us, was saying to us, why is Pastor not in peak this morning like yourself or I think you
No man,
remember
winter clothes there. I
and
wanted to know.
wanted us
No
to put
one
on with.
wanted you in pink, Pastor. I take that right off the
But
table.
let me just say, real men wear pink.
Yes,
Real men wear pink. Can you
but you
imagine
know,
this? What is it to know?
but in all
Fuchsia,
fairness,
fuchsia,
they didn't
fuchsia.
ask for you to be in pink.
In term, but must put on winter
But if
clothes.
you want to wear pink,
No, I have a couple of pink shirts in my wardrobe. But so they say real men wear pink.
Yeah.
You are
Well, this morning I
secure in
went
your
for the
thing.
red sweater.
You're in. Isaiah 60, verse 1 says, Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. For behold, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples, but the Lord will rise upon you, and his glory will appear over you. Arise and shine. And it is important because yesterday one of our callers said, Boy, if you have a foot that is gone bad, you should
amputate.
amputate it or cut it off. But I had to say to him, we still believe and we have hope that change, but it really begins with each individual understanding that in your situation, God is intervening, God is seeking to help you. So it says, Arise, wake up from your slumber. That's one of Marley's song, Wake Up and Live. And so to wake up from our slumber or state of stupor and instead of saying everything, it's not going to change. I cannot do anything. But we are saying you as an individual can impact your situation, can impact those who you relate to on a daily basis by doing what is simple right and causing that to become like a real infection of love that changes the situation. Have you ever been in a situation before and you see somebody and you smile and they smile back, and if the area was filled with tension, the smile just breaks it, and before long the atmosphere has shifted. That is the power of one. That is the power of a smile. That is the power of arising and saying, within my individual circumstance, within my community, the things that I have influence over, I can change it. So that is where I'm this morning in terms of my thoughts. I can do something, I can make a difference. And I reflect on Rosa Parks, who says, I am not getting up and giving you that seat. And it mushroomed into something that became the civil rights movement of the 60s, 50s, and 60s. Yeah.
Of course, the great challenge is to keep doing the right thing even when it appears to have no impact.
Yeah, that is what it
is. That's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
I was drawn this morning to
Antonio Guterres.
The words of the UN Secretary General. There's an article in the
opinion and commentary of the Gleaner.
Right, and it's interesting because here is someone who sits at a global level and has access to leaders of the various countries in the world, and he's saying the same thing. He's saying the same things that we are saying and seeing the same things that we are seeing. Of course,
he is.
The difference between us is that he actually has access to leaders of the world. He says, as Secretary General, I spend much of my time speaking with world leaders and taking the pulse of global trends. It's clear to me that we are at a defining moment in international relations. Global decision-making is plagued by gridlock, and a fundamental paradox lies at the heart of it. On the one hand, many of today's global leaders recognize our common threats: COVID, climate, the unregulated development of new technologies. They agree that something needs to be done about them, yet that common understanding is not matched by common action. He then speaks about a failing global governance, and the cause of the failures, at the heart of it, seems to be a disconnect between national imperatives and international agendas. As he says, as a leader, having been a prime minister himself, he knows how hard it is to strike that balance between the domestic needs and the international commitments. And the same is true for Jamaica, who, especially when it comes to dealing with things pandemic, the domestic needs and the international commitments sometimes are in conflict because the people want one thing, but the country needs to be saying another on the world stage. The discussion, of course, is not to depress you. It really is to give you knowledge and to motivate you. It's time for our first break of the morning, so we'll just take that and come back to you with or setting the framework for what we'll be discussing today. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
Wow, you big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Yeah, try calling, cause trust me.
Waiters, Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
Easy! Let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, and lies prefer to truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double D Donna, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith that God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna Official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record Label at Gmail. Almighty Jah!
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station. Moving.
This is my station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Best FM. Keep listening.
Best 100.5 FM brings you youth empowerment and resilience. A 30-minute program with Royton McLaren every Monday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Your Monday nights will not be the same again. Managing stress, trauma? Let's talk on youth empowerment and resilience with Royton McLaren on Best 100.5 FM every Monday from 7:30 to 8 p.m.
Veg Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veg Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back to the Morning Connection, and good morning to you, Toronto, Conrad, with your rebranded self, Alkibulan. One day you have to tell me what it means. All right, so before taking the break, I was warming up your spirit with the words of the UN Secretary General.
Warming up our spirit.
Yes,
I was warming up people. Arise, shine, for it. The light is come. When the light comes, it warms up the area because the glory is there and the sunshine that comes with it warms up everything. If there's darkness, there's light.
This illuminating information is not warming up the spirit.
I mean, that's so sure, sister.
Yes, it is. A lot of times, we preoccupy ourselves with we preoccupy ourselves with the concern that what's happening to us is unique and it is impossible. And sometimes it's just good to know that we are not alone in in our struggle. That people all over the world are confronting the same things and are seeking to find solutions. And I think when I hear callers become overwhelmed by the enormity of what's happening in Jamaica, that can be paralyzing, I think. Mm-hmm. And we don't want persons to feel paralyzed. We want persons to be energized and to recognize that there's always something you can do, however terrible the thing looks. And also that we're not the worst. Others are going through the same things and they're finding ways to cope, and we have to do the same. So I am interested in what I hear coming out of the United Nations, which, as I said to Percival, the purpose of the United Nations is to unite the nations. So they are seeking to bring the world together under some common causes. The Secretary General here says he sees two reasons for what is happening in the world. The first is foreign policy often becomes a projection of internal politics. So you try to bring to the world stage the things that are being driven by your very local discussions and conversations. And that, of course, won't work because others who are having the same, in fact, that is a selfish motive. Let's call it what it is. That's a selfish motive to seek to use your own peculiar experiences and circumstances to direct international policy. The second reason, he says, is because global institutions or frameworks are outdated or simply weak, and the necessary reforms are impeded by geopolitical divides. That's on the global stage. You can, of course, look at it on the local stage. We have the same issues here. We're concerned about constitutional reform. Law reform generally is a big point for us. And it's because we are trying to rebalance the distribution of goods and services and wealth, and we're trying to make sure that every Jamaican can have the same experience in the public space as others similarly placed. That is the objective. So when we see inequalities of a certain kind, as a people, we're rising up against it. And then there are some who are projecting their personal demands and urgencies into the public discussion. So if I am in a rural community requiring certain things, I don't have any patience for what those in the urban setting require. And I want my problem to be given, priority attention over and above the problems of others. again, selfish. And so we have to find ways to ensure that we are more
can you be
equitable in our
unselfish?
thinking.
How can you be unselfish? Because the natural tendency, you call it default position, like you're on your computer, you turn it on, your default operating system is Microsoft or Linux or one of
Well,
those.
I know that you want to speak about the renewed man and the Holy Spirit, which inhabits the hearts and mind and cause us to be less selfish. But you can go the enlightened self-interest route and recognize that if I am patient in awaiting the satisfaction of my need and allow another man to go first, in the end, I've made a friend. And in my hour of need, I will have an ally because I've shown myself to be patient and caring.
Be friendly.
I've shown myself to be friendly, right? So there's that. The comment is made again that there is a failing of global governance. Interesting point to be made by the UN Secretary General, because many of us think that globalism and the impact of external forces on our local issues is overwhelming. I mean, we say that, for example, many persons were saying that our Prime Minister was under external pressure to get as many people vaccinated in as short a time as possible, regardless of the impact on our health. So we are concerned that global pressures are crushing us, and the Secretary General is saying global governance is failing at precisely the moment when the world should be coming together to solve global problems.
It is gonna come together, you know, with the external pressures. Everything is gonna come together if we believe that what is written. We were speaking about prophecy on Monday, in terms of how it's all coming together. And interestingly, in the article, it speaks of injustice,
yes, inequality, mistrust, racism,
discrimination, are casting
dark shadows across every society. So it's the commentary is very relevant to all the things that are of concern to us.
And it reminds me of a person that it is purported or declared that when he comes, he's going to establish a government that is going to fix all of
solve those problems,
the inequality that is there, you know.
So
and the government will be, and his name will be
Mr.
called
Guterres
Wonderful.
ends his article by saying we must restore human dignity and human decency and respond to people's anxieties with answers. In the face of growing interconnected threats, enormous human sufferings, and shared risks, we have an obligation to speak up and act to put out the fire.
Yeah.
So
there's that imperative, and his wonderful counselor, mighty God, everlasting Prince of Peace, of the increase of his government and peace, there'll be no end. What if in that lies all the answers we're looking for? But anyway, because he was representing God, and God is love, and love thinks about the other person. So the injustice, the discrimination, all of them things are taken care of. Because if we follow the golden rule, which has come out of his very heart, and have us at the center of it in terms of how we deal with the environment, how we deal with each other, a lot of the things will be solved. But I declare again, arise, shine, the light. Light means it. Light in this context is the light of God, and the entrance of his word brings light to the situation. So as I agree with you, there's no need to be hopeless.
Oh.
There's no need to be hopeless. Yeah. Interesting words though. So what's on the local agenda? Yesterday.
Oh no, I gotta share. Let me share with you what Conrad has said. He says Alkebulan is the name of the continent we now call Africa.
Oh, interesting.
You learn something every morning. Thank you, Conrad. Alkebulan. So we're Alkebulanese?
Could be. Don't start up Conrad this morning, you know. So it's Africa HVAC services. Right?
HVAC. No. HVAC is his business.
That's what I'm telling you.
Oh, so you're saying it's
A-
no, not.
Africa
See,
HVAC
no.
services.
Man, you make Conrad take you on like darkness. Do not change the man identity.
I'm not changing
That
it,
is
but
the
you saw if
that's the
Alcobeban is a
name.
name for Africa, so it says thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
Africa is the European name for our continent. Oh, you mean Winter Olympics?
Come from Miss Vax.
Yeah.
This is so funny.
Okay, you gotta share it then.
So there is Tufton driving a car. Come from Miss Vax.
Oh.
And they splashing the unvax and on the license plate is government discrimination. Wow. Mm-mm.
I'm curious to see how Jamaicans would respond to that. This idea that the government is floating that they can, have a basket of nice things
For
the
those who aren't
vaxxed,
vaxxed, yeah.
while the unvaxxed you know what I'm saying, get splashed by the side of the road. It shall fail because yes, it is discrimination. And it's a pointless discrimination, and they're doing it in the wrong place too, because Jamaicans generally are not taken in by those.
Yeah, Jamaicans said
that kind of strategy.
justice. That's because Jamaicans rise up,
Even if they don't want to go to the
you
things.
can- yeah, man.
Because like myself, that's how I feel about it. Like even if it's not an event I would want to go to anyway, I'm offended that you would try to
Gibson
block
really
other
is.
persons because of their personal choice regarding their health.
I know the interesting thing with that personal choice is that what is emerging in the narrative is that me and you and I are the same boat in the sense that you're vax, I'm unvax, but
You have natural immunity.
But not only
I
that,
have not.
it's the fact that it's been.
Are you telling people I'm vaxxed?
No, I never said that.
Oh.
And I said what is emerging in the narrative is that those who are vax and those who are unvax are the same, both in terms of their ability to contract the virus.
Okay, because of course I regard all of that as confidential and private information.
Oh, no, not your doctor. I'm not your doctor today.
Not today.
Yes, never was your doctor, never wanted to be.
All right.
As we go through the
Yesterday,
paper.
we had a caller who said, hasn't the horse gone through the gate? Isn't it time for the gangrenous limb to be amputated?
Chop off the Jamaica.
Yes, and interestingly, the letter of the day is, morally speaking, have we crossed the Rubicon? Simply put, have we
Lost our.
no, have we passed the point of no return? Let me see what the person concluded. Not as simply written as I hoped it would be. But what we know as civilization is now at the brink of oblivion, due to the fact that a significant amount of our population is unable to differentiate between what is socially acceptable and that which is downright detestable. Many of us are unable to come to grips with the fact that vulgarity and crassness have become the predominant features within social and personal engagements. Where do we get the strength to go on when the realization hits us that more and more of our people have emptied themselves of the basic human traits they were created with, and in the absence of those traits they have installed hate, vengeance, greed, covetousness, and the rejection of all that is refined and honorable. Do you know, this moral decadence is exacerbated by the fact that it is not the exclusive preserve of the so-called uncultured. Culturally, our society is shockingly being led from bottom to top. The wanton killings that have engulfed Jamaica are a potent reminder of this deadly combination of the intoxication of the lust for money and the rejection of moral values. Boy.
Book. Is who wrote that? It sounds like a lawyer.
It is the letter of the day, Cashley Brown, if that is
No
that's a
person.
pseudonym. Is it? It's not a pen name?
No, it's his name.
An actual Cashley? As
Yeah.
in, okay. Listen, we say that, but then we come upon instances where a group of people in a community put their own lives at risk to rescue a man who is being electrocuted, and the man eventually died. But I always think, what is the purpose of pulling someone from a situation like that and then they die shortly thereafter? And I'm always reminded of when Joseph had interpreted the dreams for those two men in prison. And one, he said,
One
in 3
died.
days you will be elevated, and in 3 days
You're gonna die.
be executed.
Mhm.
And I had a conversation with the producer about the value of those 3 days. In those 3 days, the one who was to be executed had the time to put his house in order, make whatever arrangements he needed to make, and if he was mindful of a relationship with God, ensure that that relationship was in good order.
Did I ever tell you about the it's a problem that I would give to my students, and I said to them,
if you're gonna die, you have money.
Yeah,
Yes,
and the one, yes, and the response was same way.
Yeah.
In terms of how they responded. Yeah.
So I'm here. The comment I want to make about Cashley Brown's question: morally, have we crossed the Rubicon? We have not crossed the Rubicon until we die.
Mm-hmm.
We only cross the Rubicon when we die.
Mm-hmm.
That's my belief.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a second left to stretch forth your hand to utter a prayer, it's enough
the
time.
guy on the cross with Jesus.
Yes, and so and I take heart from those events, that things that happen in our society when you see kindness being extended at various levels that just don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the capacity to care and to make the right choices is still present and alive in this society.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Brown, no, we have not crossed Rubicon. And the only time I think we will cross it, each person will cross it when they die. As long as there is life, there is hope.
But interestingly, in terms of, it doesn't say in regards to having crossed it, he puts some solutions in it in terms of persons who can help in terms of helping to restore what has happened. It reminds me of the National Prayer Breakfast with Dr. Ambrose, who spoke about change values, change mindset, that kind of thing, and inviting the church and other such people to join, to come on board in terms of moving along. I know what's interesting. The individuals who do not themselves, but of the others. The people who brought out that change harm and God can test there to say there's another way that you can go. But most of us nowadays are to do that, like to see what can I get out of it in terms of thinking, doing what is right to help the other person, holding up for herself gain that they bring. So that's interesting. So interesting. And of course, yesterday we closed with a call in terms of what's happening with chicken. We called for the two big players to really reconsider what they need to do in this time. Remember? Don't reach out to no one, but yeah, and to say to them, let's rethink. But also now, gas has gone up again this morning, and I don't think we understand the impact that the rising gas prices is having on the community, because there's a ripple flow through effect that hits everybody in their pocket. But if you think about it, everything has to move. Whatever produce service, transportation is an important part of it. And I remember in the 90s or 2000s, the government put a tax on gasoline. Remember that? They added on a tax. If government is really serious about bringing about an amelioration of what's happening in terms of country and inflation, can they consider for a period of time in terms of bringing about an ease of rolling back one of those taxes? Because 2 taxes, remember? You remember? Yeah. Just consider thinking out of the box, the government. Because if they take off something or say we're going to move it back by this percentage, the flow through effect on the economy will be tremendous in terms of easing the pressure that is there. And they have to consider now, as government, are we really thinking about our people and what is happening? Are we just thinking about our coffers and who we have to pay, that kind of a thing? Because we know, according to our constitution, the way it is written, our creditors have first call on resources that come in, and they have to rethink what it is needs to happen. Are we going to be satisfying the external because we want a good credit rating in regards to this, or we are thinking about Jamaican people and what needs to happen in terms of them surviving and thriving and flourishing through what is happening with this pandemic? Food for thought, just a thought I'm putting out there in regards to what can be done really that will have serious ripple effect throughout the whole of the economy.
I would like you, though, to follow through and contact those persons that you know in the chicken business. I am not hopeful that the government will give any tax reprieve. Largely because the minute you say, waiver, you are affecting their intake.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I know, but you see, other governments have done it. Yeah. So why?
yeah, I mean, it's hard to find anything that our government has done that has really benefited
the people
the
on a
people.
whole,
Yeah.
and government must rule on behalf of persons. You know, do the calculations and says, okay, this is what is happening. What can we do?
But you do realize that when we establish secure trading relations with Alkebulan, with Africa, we can get oil from Africa.
Yeah.
I don't think we get Nigeria crude anymore, but
No.
but we used to.
Yeah.
We used to. We don't have to be tied to what's happening in Europe.
Yeah, but the truth is, in terms of how the world uses, there's Brent, which is out of England, and there's a sweet thing that the US that comes. So those are the things that drive. But if you can set up government to government relation, remember the Venezuelan thing, government to government thing, and what happened with that?
Yes.
Yeah, but oil is just running. I think it's about 90 now internationally, $90 a barrel. Yeah, 92.31 as of the 4th of February. That's the amount of money you pay for a barrel of oil internationally. And the exchange rate is galloping. 157.63 as of February 4. That was last week, Friday. Yeah.
For our press session this morning, and I'm being careful not to go too deep into anything before it is time for that. What is I can tell you what my focus is, because
What is your heart?
Yeah.
Heart cry this
Yeah,
morning?
because we are in the month in which we celebrate our own history, and we are seeking to establish both trade and social relationships with Africa. We are advocating a shift from the Eurocentric mode of doing business and seeking to build our own, using our own. I think that's one of the things that we should focus on as we pray for restoration of the relationship between the children of Africa and their homeland.
Diaspora.
Yeah, and then I'm also concerned about just cementing stronger ties. This is on the domestic side now. We are seeing areas of division in our society, the issue with the Maroons, the lack of understanding between different parts of the same body. So on the domestic side, I think we need to advocate for a restoration of healthy relations. Obviously, crime and violence would reduce if we were more patient with each other, more understanding of each other, and if we were less inclined to prey on each other. So I'm having a bad day, it's not your fault. I'm hungry, it's not your fault. The solution is not to take from you. But could we join in hearts and hands to create something that can sustain all of us? So that's my focus for our prayer this morning.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Let's take our break. It's now 7.
We'll be right back. The Jamaica Business Development Corporation weekly virtual biz zone is back. The webinar series is geared at offering specialized training to micro, small, and medium-sized MSME owners. Corporate Communications Manager at Jbdc, Suzette Campbell, says the webinar series began in 2020 after the agency had to pause in-person events due to the spread of COVID-19. The series was a hit among the MSME community, and the agency decided to expand the offerings this year.
And it's a weekly webinar that takes place on a Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Since 2020, we have staged approximately 53 webinars, and we had more in 2020 because, again, we listened to the ecosystem when we were serving. We needed more webinars in 2020 when people had nowhere to go. But in 2021, as people gradually began to find their footing again, we reduced the frequency of the biz zone. So we have staged about 53, and more than 15,000 persons have participated in those webinars.
The webinars will focus on a variety of topics, ranging from formalization to filing taxes and how to get your business online.
And one of the things that we always try to do is keep our topics seasonal and ensuring that we're meeting the needs of the public based on the hot topic at hand. So in 2020, for example, you would have found that we did a lot on e-commerce. Everyone was trying to figure out how to get online in lieu of selling in brick and mortar spaces. So several webinars focused on that. And, the big one is always financing. People always want to know how to get financing.
This year, the Jbdc partnered with the Tax Administration of Jamaica, TAJ, to conduct a series in the month of February about filing taxes online.
TAJ has been working feverishly to provide more online services for Jamaicans on a whole, including entrepreneurs. And so they reached out to us to share this information with our audience. And it is right on time because, February is the month before tax month, which is March, right? So, and also don't be surprised if you see tax admin return before the end of March with another webinar because, again, the filing is also going to be a thing. So there is a possibility that they will come back.
Business owners will also be able to ask the presenters questions and get clarity on anything they don't understand.
We generally allot 2 hours maximum for the webinar. The presenter may present for up to an hour, and then we have discussion and questions with the moderator and the audience. And for tax admin, they usually tend to exhaust the time because people do have a lot of questions. And it's a great avenue for them to talk to tax admin because other than that, you may be walking into tax office to try and find a tax expert to talk to about something. Well, there's no need for that because Jbdc is all about bridging the gaps for challenges faced by entrepreneurs, and that's why these partnerships are so significant.
Ms. Campbell says registering for the Jbdc Virtual Biz Zone webinar is simple and most importantly free of cost.
If you're on our mailing list, you would have received the mailer last week inviting you to register. But if you are not, you should find it on our website at www.jbdc.net and follow us on all major social media platforms. And you'll see the flyer there. You check the link in the bio, you click and you register. We don't ask for too much information for you to register, but it's there. So you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. We're on all the major social media platforms.
Corporate Communications Manager Jbdc, Suzette Campbell. All sessions will be recorded and posted on the Jbdc's YouTube channel, just in case you want to go back for the information shared. For more information, visit jbdc.net or call 876-928-51615.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Fast FM. Keep listening.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
Need a cab from anywhere at all. You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Melody, melody, melody in my voice. Kemisha plays the music nice. Melody, melody, melody in my voice. Kemisha full of vibes. Best FM run the town. Yes, I run the town. Hear me loud and clear. They run the country and the town. Country and the town. Or the far and near. Bless the love and to Empress Kemisha. On Best FM, and it's all about the reset, you know. Mondays to Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. on Best FM. Keep it locked. This is Warrior King, the Black Emperor. Come on, come on. Tune in.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in.
The best 100 FM.
The Aeronautical School of the West Indies presents Squawk 876, a fun and informative program where you will learn about flying, aircraft systems, weather, maintenance, and much more. Tune in to Best 100 FM this and every Wednesday at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Vijam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vijam Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection. We were talking before we took the break. Pastor mentioned a couple of things. One having to do with the chicken pricing situation, and the commenting also on the fact that oil prices have gone up and the price of gas has been on the rise. Connected to the same issue is a decision that is being reported on. The CCJ has upheld the CARICOM Common External Tariff Safeguard in a case brought by Belize against Trinidad. I make mention of it because our Minister of Agriculture floated the idea of waiving the tariff so that goods could come in at a cheaper. I think that was the idea. And I see here where a similar thing, Trinidad did a similar thing with sugar. And Belize brought an action and succeeded against Trinidad. Trinidad had lifted the tariff so that sugar from non-CARICOM states could enter at a lower price. I'm just kind of looking at it because, and I make mention of it because even as our minister sort of floated the idea, it is a timely reminder that the things that we want to do to solve domestic problems have international implications and could well lead to, other problems. Let me put it that way.
Brussels, you remember, I think there is an organization in Brussels that kind of governs trade and trade disputes. That's correct?
Yes, there is a part of the European Union, but as it relates to CARICOM.
No, but I'm talking international.
Yes, always. There are always, yes.
I was thinking about it in terms of you can't unilaterally just do something because it becomes a trade
It
dispute.
affects the people who trade with you.
Yeah. So.
But it goes back to the point which the UN Secretary General made that many times your international policy is a projection of your domestic policy. You want to do something that is right for your country. So, for example, we want to have chicken priced at a cheaper level because it would solve a problem domestically, but the decision you take has international implications and can lead you into a minefield of other issues. Not only that, because you must maintain good trading relations with your neighbors, if you show yourself to be, to have that inclination, when it suits you, you abandon treaties, then you can expect to be treated in the same way by your allies.
It's like what's happening international with the taxation. That some countries were having people were going to them because their tax rates were less, and one of the things that Biden did, prompted by Janet Yellen, who is the secretary, was saying that they agreed on an international, taxation, corporate taxation rate.
Yes.
Yeah, so you'd have people floating. So places like Ireland and things were saying, we now do that because the people are coming here. So that is another.
They sell citizenship and
it's a thing, and people set up business there because their tax rates were so much lower than others. So those are things that Gutierrez, that's his name, we're talking about. So it's so interesting that has come to the fore in terms of, but we have to walk between the raindrops, they call it, in terms of ensuring that our people flourish, in terms of the things that we do, the levers that we can pull. Some of the times we say that we can't do anything, but it's not really true, because I think the Universal Access Fund and what you did then in terms of speaking to the powers that be were saying you can't do that. And it has worked for the benefit of Jamaicans per se, could have been utilized more in terms of what needs to happen in regards to that whole thing of saying, but we're doing this, we're not taking anything from you, we're doing this because we think that there's something in it that can move our people forward in terms of what is needed.
Yeah, for that sugar case, for those who are interested in how the CCJ performs and how these matters of trade are looked at, you can check out the story. It's reported on in today's Gleaner. But what's important is that the CCJ upheld the tariff, even though it dismissed the claim by Belize. Belize had brought a claim against Trinidad. It dismissed the claim, but it made an important ruling concerning the validity and importance of the tariff. They lost on evidence. Belize lost on evidence. They didn't have evidence to support their claim. But the importance of the tariff and the validity of it was restated.
Wow.
This court has had reason to affirm repeatedly the importance of the obligation on member states to impose and maintain the CET on the importation of extra-regional goods.
So if we can get it in Jamaica.
If we can get what in Jamaica?
If you can get it cheaper
from your first, and it does make sense. Your first pick should be from within the region, and if you're taking it from outside the region, then the tariff should apply.
I'm just asking still, I'm just asking. Yeah, because people are thinking, even what?
Even if it's more expensive, that's what you're asking?
No. All right. So, like with chicken, other countries have what is called economies of scale. Other countries get subsidies, which inherently makes their product so much cheaper than if you're doing it locally.
Or it makes the price, because the product has the value. The fact that it's subsidized
It's a
doesn't
price
take away from its
the
intrinsic value.
So, and so if my inputs, the subsidy that I'm getting from my government and so on, it's gonna make my price much lower. So that is one of the things that we on a whole have to think about, because what happens now, your food security long term goes away, which is what is happening to a lot of countries. They're not getting the cheap thing. It's becoming more expensive to do that. And you're waiting. Because you highlighted the case of this lady who made the orders from long time and she never had anything to sell for Christmas because of what has happened in terms of the shipping and the logistics are getting. So those things you have to weigh, because if you're dependent and external to feed yourself, say, if war happen and ship can't come and thing, you are gonna starve. You are going to starve, and those are some of the realities you have to think about long term. Yeah.
Rock Connect, a new mobile provider led by former banker Bruce Boyne, will be provided with technical assistance and commercial advisory support by the IFC for the build-out of internet services in rural communities. The company won the bid last year to supply 200 rural communities with broadband internet access on behalf of the Jamaican government. Connectivity is important for business and life generally, said Executive Chairman of Rock Connect, Bruce Bowen, on a conference call on Tuesday. Today marks a milestone not only for Rock Connect in seeking to close the connectivity gap in Jamaica, but also a milestone for Jamaica because of the support of a quality institution like the IFC, he said. IFC is the private sector financing arm of the World Bank and has done business with regional companies over many years, including loans last year for at least 2 Jamaican firms. The aid to Rock will assist with the rollout of its network.
How much money they getting?
Or landmark, let me see if they place a value to it. Our landmark agreement with IFC provides technical and commercial advisory support as we build out Jamaica's advanced wireless broadband internet network. Rock is able to leverage IFC's extensive global expertise in the telecom sector. I'm sure it has a dollar value, but they're not saying what it is.
They never normally do in those articles. Really? Is that money that has to be paid back when you get technical assistance that way? What is it about? I always see these things and I ask myself.
Technical assistance is usually like grant funds.
Okay, all right.
But I'm looking and trying to see where it says, and I'm resisting the urge to even comment on the good fortune of Rock Connect as it takes over Carousel's spot in the market, because I think that they are the company to whom the government sought to assign the spectrum, which was originally assigned and paid for by Carousel.
That's it. Paid for. You mean that you paid for it, but you lost the license, so you get.
The government purported to revoke the license and reassign the spectrum, and did not refund the monies that they collected.
Okay.
For the license for the spectrum. This company, and it would be of the greatest benefit to Jamaican consumers if they actually do something, if they actually deliver. But I cannot help but be disturbed by the fact that the Jamaican government supported and participated in destroying my company so that another company could rise up. And it's one of the features of our local affairs that is very disturbing.
The plantation economy?
Yes. Very, very disturbing. Very disturbing. And they know full well what they did.
Okay.
It's kind of difficult to see how it is playing out. But you really don't ever want to wish someone ill.
No, we don't.
Because
But remember the thing.
So I keep thinking.
Be not deceived.
Yeah, God is not mocked. That is true.
Be not deceived.
I do hope that they get their act going and that
they go forward, but be not deceived.
Those
for the princes
areas
of the
in
land.
Jamaica that need the broadband service, that it actually gets done.
Yeah, for the princes of the land. It's unfortunate, somebody asked me, how can you be so very confident that God will intervene? And I tell you, some of the times you see people prospering and you say, Lord, but that's not right. That something not right with that, because you know some things that other people don't know. I'm not talking in terms of rock at all. I'm just seeing in terms of the daily course of seeing and doing things. And I said, nah. But then it comes and it goes, and I say, oh, that's why we trust God, that He knows and He does all things well. Yep.
Well, can I tell you? We started off this morning with the challenge that you do the right thing even when it does not seem to be making a difference or having an impact. And that is the position in which I find myself. Many Jamaicans are in that position. Do we dare to continue doing the right things? And we know what they are, even though it appears to have no impact.
And there's an impact study for bauxite.
Oh, is that the word impact caught your mind? All right, I'm just kind of, idling along with you until it's time.
No, man, no, but I'm saying, but for real, because all of these things are related to how we go. Seeing as we look at this came up last week, the non
fungible tokens.
Yeah, when Ms. Stowe was talking about it, and people are asking about how does that work, and they are saying it's bound to collapse. Oops, what do they mean? The finances in terms of what is backing it.
Yeah.
Does it operate like the Bitcoin? Or how does that work? The non-fungible tokens. What is the concept behind? That's what I'm asking you.
What's the concept behind it?
Yeah, the non.
Encryption, a secure encryption that preserves the value of what you have.
Okay.
Sort of like
so you have an electronic
a source code for a software that is the original intellectual property
of somebody.
That
So
that's kept in a lockbox, even though many people can license and use it. Like you have an operating system on your Microsoft Word, for example. It is people buy licenses to use it all over the world, but the original code that was used to create the software,
the owner has it.
The owner keeps that, even though many people license it.
And they have to pay.
So the value is in the code. You pay, right? So with an NFT, the artist creates something. That is the original. He keeps it. He does encrypted copies of it and sells that.
That's how he gets his money.
That's how he gets his money. So now, instead of when an artist does work, usually the original goes, he sells the original, he no longer has it.
Okay. Also, that's a difference.
But with non-fungible tokens, you can
hold on to it.
You can keep the original. That's your source code, so to speak.
And people can make electronic copies around it, around the world.
Yeah, and what I like about it in the art world, of course, is that you're not limited to size, because when you get a digital copy, you can put it on the side of a building, you can put it on a wall, you can put it on you can
on a phone.
Replicate it to scale.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure why they say it's bound to collapse. It is. Every market is based on the confidence of the persons who participate in it. In March 2021, the auction house Christie's sold a JPEG file created by the artist Beeple for US $69.3 million, a record for a digital artwork. The ownership of the original JPEG, titled Every Days, the First 5,000 Days, was secured as a non-fungible token or NFT. The sale made headlines, and NFTs have become red hot. Investors poured $27 billion into the market in 2021. And Meta, Facebook's renamed parent company, now reportedly plans to allow users to create and sell NFTs. There's just one problem. The NFT market will eventually collapse for any of a host of reasons.
And they give it a host of reasons.
Yes. In essence, an NFT is a tradable code attached to metadata, such as an image. A secure network of computers records the sale on a digital ledger, a blockchain, giving the buyer proof of both authenticity and ownership.
What they're saying is that people can hack into anything. Somebody can also hack into the
Yeah,
NFT.
they can break into your house and steal it.
Yeah. Okay. No, I understand.
I don't know. It seems to me I would buy art that way. I really would. But I think what is critical is you have to limit the supply. I think because the value of it, I would imagine that the value of each piece of it gets lower the more you put out.
Okay.
Usually with a piece of art, each piece of art is unique. You make it, you sell it, that's it.
Okay.
And it's on the resale of it that the value keeps going up.
Right.
Each time you resell it.
But with the NFT,
With NFT, you can keep making copies. So maybe that is.
Wow.
All right. Are you ready, my dear?
Yeah. The first song is. So this morning, as you've heard us speaking, we go to lift our nation, to talk about things that are happening in the nation. But I'm on a part of declaration. I'm on a part of saying, okay, not on retreat, but on attack. We're going against a lot of things that we need to change, that we know out of the revealed word of God. He says, this is not how I want humankind to live. This is not how I want people to operate. So you've heard me speak about crime and violence. You've heard me speak about corruption. You've heard me continue to declare Psalms 89 and verse 14. And so the trustees have gone to Africa for some music today because it's not Eurocentric. It is their music, and you'll get some.
It's our music.
It's our music in terms of sharing it. So we begin as per usual, and we're coming up onto the break just to draw you close to where we're going. So we're going on offensive this morning in terms of some of the things that we want to see change, and it has to change first in the spiritual realm before we see the manifestation. And you've heard me declare certain things. We'll continue to make the declaration over our nation in regards to the things we want to see change in terms of crime and violence, in terms of how we deal with each other, breaking the cycle of what I call self-hate against ourselves, and see ourselves in the light of how God sees us as a people who are glorious, who have come from the heart of God, people now recognize that Africa is the source of all civilization, and just begin to declare. God declared when he made us that we were very good, and he put us as humankind at the top of his created order. But we have fallen from that, and we need to go back there. And when you see yourself in the light of how God has declared you with a dominion mandate, having redeemed you, it changes the way that you act, the way that you do. So you can love, you can do what is right, you can act in an honest way, you can act not killing your brother and sister, you can act because you have chosen that you prefer God instead of mammon. Because mammon gets you to do all kind of things that when you reflect on it, you say, I never really wanted to do that. And the word of God says, the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money, because money is something that we use to exchange today. So the declaration. So the first song, Lion of Judah by Abba, somebody out of thing. You found that song, Mr. Lion of Judah. There are three songs, so we're going to start with Lion of Judah, making that declaration, and we're coming up to the break. So we come back with that song, and then we have some other songs. We on the war part this morning as we go into the heaven.
We'll be right back.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2¼ Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me send you.
Wow, you big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Yeah, try calling, cause trust me.
Winters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Fast FM. Keep listening.
Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Veg Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veg Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats. Best.
Lion of Judah, we come this morning in praise and adoration of who you are. We declare that we are rising up because indeed the light has come and the glory of God eternal is risen upon us. We declare that the entrance of your word brings light to our situation. And we declare that indeed you are our God. You came as the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah to break and to destroy every yoke of bondage, every chain, to set at liberty all of those who are bound in their minds, bound by their circumstances. And we declare that indeed you are breaking and you're destroying every chain, every chain, every chain that indeed exists. And so we come and we thank you, God, that you over time have liberated, have set us free. But indeed we understand and know that even as you have declared that we are free, we still allow ourselves to be bound in our mind. That is why you instruct us to be transformed by renewing our minds. Understand that indeed that the battles that we face on a daily basis, the battles that we face in our communities, the battles that we face on the national and the regional basis are in the mind. And so indeed we come against every propaganda, every bit of misinformation, disinformation, and declare that indeed your truth will reign, your truth will reign, your truth will rise up. And so even now as we declare a new day dawning within us as individuals, within us, in our families, in our communities, in our nation, Jamaica, we put Jamaica before you. And indeed we declare that the shackles of the plantation system are broken, that the shackles that want to keep us in bondage, want to keep us from flourishing as a nation in the structures that have been set up, even within a constitution that favors a few and not all of us as a country. We apply indeed the fire of God against it, and we send fire, Lord, against the things that would want to prevent your people from thriving, because we recognize that indeed your word declares that Jesus came that we might have life and have it more abundantly, socially, economically, in terms of our relationships, in regards to justice. We declare that indeed a new day is rising up. So we set your fire, Lord, against the principalities and powers and the strongholds in our nation that would seek to perpetuate the crime and the violence. Indeed, we begin with ourselves and we repent as persons who see our brother as the enemy, not created in your image and in your likeness. Because indeed, as someone else says, it is human beings that control the gun. The guns don't have a life of its own. And so we pray for the individuals in communities that continue to take life, innocent life. We come against the spirit of retaliation that is behind a lot of the crimes that are being committed. We come against the spirit, Lord, of domestic violence that is so very prevalent in a lot of our communities, in our families. We come against the spirit of physical abuse even now. We pull it down and we declare individually that is behind of us, and we want to move forward living in true love, living in peace with our neighbors. And indeed we come against what is happening in terms of corruption. Your word declares the love of money is a root of all evil. And in your word, Jesus declared that you cannot serve God and mammon. And today we declare, Lord, that we will serve you. And if we serve you, what your word declares in Psalms 89 and verse 14, that your throne is built upon righteousness and justice and truth. and mercy go before you. So we declare in our nation that the righteousness government of God is in our hearts as individuals. It is rising up in our families, is rising up in our communities, even now. That indeed corruption, which Lord takes away so much of our GDP, along with crime and violence. We declare and we pull down those strongholds, those altars even now in the name of Jesus. And we apply the fire of God. We apply the rulership of God in those situations. We declare that the Lion of Judah that is breaking and destroying those chains is rising up even now. And even today, we declare that the pestilence of COVID, which has so ravaged our nation, has so ravaged in the world, has been broken, even as it moves to the endemic phase. And we say, Lord, let truth emerge. Let truth emerge, truth that liberates us and set us free. And so we declare over our nation as a people
that no longer shall the princes and leaders of the land abuse and oppress the people. That there be a time of freedom, of empowerment and prosperity for the people, a season of outstanding achievement. That the administration of justice in every sphere of life shall be freed from the limitations of cynical and unbelieving men and women, and that justice shall indeed flow like living waters from the throne of God into the bellies of every man and woman.
And so we continue to declare that hearts and hands are coming together in our nation, that a spirit of true unity, love, and respect for each other is rising up, that indeed from Negril Point to Moran Point, from the east to the west, the north to the south, in this nation, that our people are rising up and taking responsibility for themselves. That even the government of this nation and the leaders of this nation in the 7 pillars are ruling on your behalf, recognizing that they have been put there. And so we again declare that if they are not doing what they've been set out to do, Lord, you remove them. You remove them, because indeed in Daniel it declares that you rule in the affairs of men. You set up governments, you pull down governments. We'll respect them, Lord, but if they are not ruling righteously and for you, that humankind can flourish, we declare, remove them, remove them, remove them, because they are not doing your will in this time and in this place. So, Lion of Judah, we declare, rise up, because we declare Jehovah is your name. You are a mighty warrior for us.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM. Not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM. And chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM. Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM. Is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM. Your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM. And chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM. Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM. Is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM. Connection Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM. Talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM. Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Double, double, double. Somebody declare over your life, double for the trouble that you've had. Double for the trouble that you've had. Indeed, I declare over you, double for the trouble that you've had. In every situation, you now become an overcomer. So even as Job, our favorite character for my co-presenter, yes, everything was taken out. When he came back out, he got double. Double, 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 double. So whatever your situation has been, we declare over you because God is fighting on your behalf. He's a mighty warrior. He's giving you double for your trouble. The Lion of Judah that breaks every chain is breaking chains over your life individually, breaking chains over your family. He's opening doors that have been closed from Negril Point to Moran Point across this nation. Double, double. Decrease in murders, decrease in domestic violence, decrease in physical abuse, but indeed double love, double flourishing, double unity indeed in our lives. Good.
Well, I received the double.
Yeah, man. For the trouble that you have been through, we're saying double. And so we continue to pray. But I say to people as we pray, we must now begin to act. Because having prayed and received the answer, believe that when we pray, God says he will respond, but he can only respond through humans. Because that's the key, you know. We have a responsibility to do and to change and to do what is right.
We are the hands. We are the hands and feet.
Of God, in the situation.
It is. I think what you've done is wonderful. We are always trying to achieve that blend of the spiritual and the practical.
Yeah, we have to.
Because although many persons castigate the church for doing a lot of talking but not affecting things, I think a big part of what the church needs to do is to open the door through the
spiritual realm.
The spirit in the spiritual realm, yes. And what opens the door is the creative power behind the words we speak. And that's why preaching and so on is such a staple. Once you've done that, it is for those who hear to be not just hearers of the word.
Doers. Time for doers. Time for doers to rise up and to.
You don't need to read the Bible to know that the real critical success factor is doing the things that you know need to be done, and of course we say things that are right.
Yeah.
I said before, I don't share the view that we are so depraved as to have abandoned what we know to be right. I think when it comes down to it, Each of us have the capability to choose what is right. With some need a little urging, but for the most part, left by ourselves, we'll make the right call. I love it too that you are focused on speaking in faith and then setting out. Because if you never set out, if you never follow up with the actions that are required, your faith is meaningless. I mean, it would only
it says
have
that in
just been
James,
words.
Show me your faith, show your actions. So the faith and the actions work together because you believe because of who God is. And you set his principle, then I can act in righteousness, I can act in truth, I can do mercy, and I can love my neighbor in truth. Because the truth always comes, it's like you think it cream rises to the top. The truth always rises to the top on our behalf. So we declare, indeed, change is coming and work into this, so the change happen, so the corrupt will fall, the crime and violence will decrease in our nation as we move forward, as men and women of good heart and faith, born together, Rastaman, Christian, Muslim, come together to bring about the righteousness that is so.
Take it to the break.
Yes.
Well done.
All right, it's time for a break. When we return, we'll open the lines. Please remember that the numbers to call 619-1508-279-8473.
We'll be right back.
BBC News. Hello, this is Jerry Smith. The Kremlin has said that an upcoming military exercise with Belarus is larger than usual due to tensions linked to Ukraine and what Moscow calls threats. It would not confirm how many soldiers it has deployed. Caroline Davies reports.
Moscow has consistently maintained that it has no intention to invade Ukraine. But today the Kremlin did confirm that military drills in Belarus were not unrelated to rising tensions. Russia has sent anti-aircraft missiles and fighter jets to Belarus. It hasn't confirmed the number of troops, but when asked if this was the largest drill since the Cold War, the Kremlin described the drills as a very serious allied maneuver. When asked whether the drills were related to Russia feeling threatened by NATO, he said yes, that Russia and Belarus faced unprecedented threats that are more dangerous than before.
Scientists say they've made a major breakthrough in their quest to develop practical nuclear fusion, which could eventually offer an almost unlimited source of low-carbon power. The European Jet Laboratory in Britain has broken its own world record for the amount of energy it can extract by squeezing together two forms of hydrogen. Justin Rolat has this report.
3, 2, 1. This is the sound of the record-breaking reaction. Atoms of hydrogen are fusing together at 150 million degrees Celsius, recreating here on Earth the reaction that powers the sun. It only lasted 5 seconds, but shows that sustained fusion reactions generating significant energy are possible, say researchers at the UK-based Jet Laboratory, where the reaction took place. Now the focus will move to the south of France, where a consortium of world governments are building an even bigger fusion reactor.
Police in southern India have arrested 15 people over the violence that broke out following protests against Muslim students wearing the hijab. Demonstrations in response to some schools refusing entry to women with Islamic headscarves turned violent in parts of Karnataka state. All high schools and colleges have been shut for 3 days. The Dutch Central Bank has published an independent report on its historical involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. Anna Holligan has the details.
A substantial portion of the bank's starting capital came from business owners with direct interests in plantation slavery. Commodities produced by enslaved people, typically coffee, tobacco, sugar and nutmeg, were often used as collateral for bank loans. The bank's directors were also directly involved in the management of plantations. The Dutch Central Bank will now decide what to do with the findings. Dutch campaigners may use them to renew calls for reparations for the suffering experienced by their ancestors.
World News from the BBC. The Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has appointed as chief of police an army officer who is blacklisted by the US over alleged human rights violations. The former head of intelligence, Major General Abel Kandiho, has been accused of abuses including electrocution and sexual assault. A South African man has won a legal battle against the Vodacom mobile company after a high court found he was the inventor of its Please Call Me messaging service. The judge ruled that Nkosana Makate was entitled to 5% of the total voice revenue generated between 2001 to 2021. Vodacom has said it will appeal. Here's Pumza Falani.
Nkosana Makate has described the ruling as a big relief. It's been a protracted legal battle and he's been through a number of the country's courts. At first, Vodacom denied that he was the inventor of the service. Next, that he was due any financial benefits from it. Eventually, a 2016 constitutional court ruling found in Mr. Makate's favor. The company offered a settlement, but he rejected it and took the matter to another court for a review. And it's paid off, it seems.
A research company in Lebanon says 2021 saw the highest level of migration from the country in years as the economic crisis has worsened. Information International says that almost 80,000 Lebanese citizens emigrated last year. That's more than 4 times higher than the figure the previous year, but that may be due in part to the COVID pandemic. It's still 13,000 more than in 2019. On the 5th day of competition at the Beijing Winter Olympics, Slovakia's Petra Vlhova produced a stunning second run to take gold in the women's ski slalom. American Lindsay Jacob Ellis took her first Olympic gold at the age of 36. And that's the BBC News.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love this station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
This is my station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Best FM. Keep listening.
One in. A hurricane we name. Are we rough? Whether we are man hurricane or woman hurricane. We want you know that. We come here to mash up building, blow down things and take life. Flood out place. We no ramp. We no respect no one. So no take no chance with we. Listen to Adprem and prepare.
Hurricanes do happen, so
be prepared.
Yes,
be prepared.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
The Aeronautical School of the West Indies presents Squawk 876, a fun and informative program where you will learn about flying, aircraft systems, weather, maintenance, and much more. Tune in to Best 100 FM this and every Wednesday at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in.
Best 100 FM.
Melody in our voice. Kemisha plays the music nice. Melody in our voice. Kemisha full of vibes. Best FM run the town. Yes, I run the town. Hear me loud and clear. They run the country and the town, or the far and near. Bless the love into to Empress Kemisha on Best FM, and it's all about the reset, Mondays to Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. on Best FM. Keep it locked. This is Warrior King, the Black Emperor. Come on. Tune in.
Wagwan.
Guten Tag.
Buongiorno. We are
the Kingstones.
I think I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them. It's so amazing how I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them.
Greetings. Bitter Sugar returns to Best FM Wednesdays 6 to 8 p.m. Tune in as we put forward Bitter Sugar. Yes, your host, Brother Miguel Lorne, as we ride. This is education, African fundamentalism, purity of the race, self-reliance, repatriation. These are topics we're going to go into. Tune in, Best FM, as we put forward Bitter Sugar once more.
Isn't it strange how princesses and kings?
printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vijam Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Morning Connection. There's a caller on the line. Good morning and welcome.
Oh, blessed love.
Blessed love to you too, sir.
King and Queen. Yeah.
Turn on your radio.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes, I can hear us in the background. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, would say a long time we not talk, so we say greeting in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Selassie the First, and the lovely Mother of Creation, Empress Menin, the most beautiful woman ever on earth.
Hey.
We greet all African people, seeing that we get a short month to celebrate and to hug up one another and to love one another better and to embrace one another better in this time of Cold War and everything, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we just greet all the African people home and abroad. We say freedom, redemption, international repatriation and reparation. And to reparation the damage that you have done to we African people. And the only way we can find back ourselves, find forward ourselves on this beautiful earth, is to fulfill the cause of reparation and repatriation. Every nation back to their own vine and fig tree. Africa for the Africans home and abroad. China for the Chinese, India for the Indians, Europe for the Europeans, fulfill the Malachi force. So we as far we still, that is our bottom line, our headline. Yeah, for to see that thing come true by one voice, the voice of his King Emmanuel, you know. We are hard waiting for that, and we cannot stop because we see what's happening in the world. Yesterday I was in the hills of Trelawney and writing that beautiful Albert Town going to Stepney and those places and looking back to St. Ann Bad and see that lovely river coming through the hills, coming down to the terrain of Trelawney there, flowing freely and through the woods and things like that, and the birds singing, and I say, I'm a brethren, I say, whoa, what a beautiful landscape. Wow. And then another virgin said, I'm the government of Jamaica going to destroy, and things like that. I say, we have to put the fire upon them, man, because when you do that, all waters, it's the art. It's art, become like the lungs. The lungs are the art of Jamaica, and we love. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So me, I say, what really and truly, what to the thinking of these men and women who say that they're ruling, they're governing a beautiful island like this, Jamaica. And
so there has to be a balance in how we protect the environment and encourage development for the survival of the people who are here. There has to be a balance.
You know, so we say that. Pardon me?
No, man, you go ahead and speak. I'm hearing you and appreciating the emphasis that you're making on ensuring that we are protecting the environment.
Right, beautiful. So we say if that is done, or when that is done, we only have one choice. We don't have no other survive here. So we say, send us home. So the brethren say, send us home to Africa. Yeah, make somebody in the background.
No, but there is the call is breaking a bit.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyway, I hear you, my brother. Your two main points are well made and well received. Protect the environment and open the door for those who want to be repatriated to our motherland, that we can have a relationship with home. Those are the things we are focusing on as well as we honor the history of our people.
Yeah, and I want to say something else. The opening session of the Deer Parts inside there and the eye itself.
Yeah.
When we as I was looking through selected speech of His Majesty that we as Rastafari, we see our guiding line to Ethiopia, and it's not, we don't fight, and we don't fight others with religion. We don't fight others with their belief or what have you.
Yeah.
But when it comes, we are African people. When it comes to the subject of Africa, we should be on one card. Because you see when
man, we speak as one family.
If Majesty religion is secret, spirituality is secret.
Private, absolutely.
You have your right to in that regard, but when it comes to Africa, we have to be on one accord. So we always have that key for freedom and international repatriation. That is the headline for we as African people. Go and deal Africa. Like the Chinese, they are in Jamaica, they are all over the world.
All right, my brother. I think you had said that before, making sure that each person honor their homeland. We have another caller on the line. Can we take that call? And I thank you for participating and for your encouraging words.
All right, give thanks.
Give thanks. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Connection.
Yes, good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning, Maverick.
Yes, Pastor, tell me something. That song where you played a little while about Lion of Judah, what language is it in?
It's Ghanaian.
So I understand that. So why, I understand why you play that and I understand it.
But it was English and their local language. Remember I said when we started.
Yes, I understand that. That I understand. English and. So I understand the other part of them I say.
It comes, but it is what's going to happen if you go to different parts of Africa. And most of them will speak English or French based on who colonized them. But
then, still never understand.
Yeah, but
I only speak one language.
But you have to go learn another one, my brother. What you say?
I have to really.
Yeah, but it's just the song. I said, let's go to Africa. So they're worshiping in English and then going to their mother tongue.
Yeah, but most Jamaican people can't speak English. I know you're going to put a different language on them.
Go put. That's all right.
But it's all about understanding.
Yeah, man. True.
If you can't understand something, that means you're not there.
Yeah, man. That's
anyway,
true.
I differently. Me notice as you speak, the days go by, I notice when you seem to me, I could be wrong. You have a problem with the word judgment?
If I have a problem with the word judgment?
Yeah, it's like you don't really like it.
Because it says, judge and ye shall not be judged. I come with that already,
that's why. Oh, that is the reason why?
Yeah. So I'm saying the ultimate judge, the ultimate judge, I tell you something, Malvern. Some of the times I've learned, you see something and you pass judgment on it, but you're not aware of all of the facts. And so you are passing a judgment.
Yeah. Okay, I hear what you say. Why Kevin Smith was able to prosper and flourish in Montego Bay was because the people in church had no judgment.
Oh, Okay. But when you okay, so you look at judgment in two ways. Judgment in terms of what you're seeing in front here. I say, based on what I know, something is wrong with that. Yeah, discerning. Yeah. But I hear you talking about judgment in terms of saying
condemnation.
Condemnation.
So judgment means condemnation, you're saying?
It can be.
It can be.
And condemnation is wrong. Is that correct?
No.
Oh.
So but is that I choose, this is a decision I have taken. I choose not to, it's not that I don't judge people, and say that is wrong and so on and condemn it. But where I'm sitting now, I'm very careful in terms of saying that right now. Because in my whole situation, as you become older, you become wiser. Some things that you do when you were young, you said, there's some things I don't know, but when you know as much as the facts you can, then you can say, you condemn and say, that is wrong, and this is what will be the result of that. Can you accept that position?
I noticed that the new talk of today is no judgment, no condemnation. I noticed that is, and I think that is why the murder rate is so high.
Okay, because you are saying
because mothers refuse to give judgment in them house,
and so therefore
and
the people
refuse to condemn the beast-like behavior.
But discipline and judgment.
Children.
Discipline and judgment are not the same things. Discipline is training.
Discipline and judgment
are not the same thing.
Okay, yeah. Fine.
So those persons who are not.
What's that a question?
Well, you said mothers.
I don't understand.
Why I made the comment?
I mean, I don't understand why you say that.
Because you said mothers refuse to give judgment in their houses, and that's why criminals emerge.
To give judgment. Just like how
but applying discipline
in Montego Bay refuse to give judgment to Kevin Smith.
All right, let me say something, Malvern. What I'm saying to you, okay. There is the place to pass judgment. Don't get me wrong that I don't do that, All right? So I do. I believe in judging people and say, this is based on the facts that are presented before me. This is my judgment. Another thing that comes with that is that when you pass judgment, if in your passing a judgment you have been wrong, you have to be humble enough to say, I was wrong in the judgment that I have passed. Okay? So we establish
that. You're wrong in any part of life.
Right, right. Okay. The second thing is now, because of the fora, the medium that we're using now, I have to be careful in terms of passing judgment too quickly. So I'm not one who is, as I say something, pass judgment. I wait and I see and I ponder and I seek to get understanding before I pass judgment. That is my simple position. You understand that? You can accept that?
Yes, nothing is wrong with what you just said.
Right. So I don't believe that I don't pass judgment, But I'm saying in the process of time and experience, you learn to be quick. You learn not to be quick to pass judgment.
But I'm curious though, caller, why did you make that comment to Pastor Palmer about his avoidance of the word judgment? Is it?
Yes, because I've noticed as I listened over the months.
Yes.
He always refused to use the word, even in the scripture that he quoted. He deleted it.
Which one that?
Psalm 89 verse 14.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that observation. We're going to see if Pastor can address it in going forward, because I don't know that he deliberately avoids the word judgment, even though we are non-judgmental unless we are sitting as a court.
Maybe deliberate is a strong word, but there's a disdain. Society doesn't use that word anymore.
Okay.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying, right?
All right, my brother. Thank you. We have another caller on the line.
That is why the murder rate is so high. That's one of the reasons why the murder rate is high.
Okay. Well, that link I would love to explore if we had more time.
With you, yeah, man. We'll come back again.
That is why Kevin Smith could flourish.
Okay.
Flourish.
All right.
What are your favorite words, partner?
Yeah, man.
All right, my brother.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Shalom. Shalom.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
Blessings to you and yours and all your listeners and callers across the globe on the various platforms.
Thank you.
It's Pastor Percy.
Yes, my brother.
I don't know if you were listening to the news, the BBC news just now, about the Dutch Central Bank and their review into chattel slavery.
No.
Oh, man. No, I can't believe that I missed that. Their findings, they were 32, and the finding is that the product that we were enslaved for, because, the Netherlands was down here earlier on, also.
Yeah,
Dutch Netherlands.
Go ahead.
Their plantation also. And they said the finding is that the chattel slave, the product of their enslavement was used to enhance the bank and was also used for the exchange, and loan was given to the plantation owner based on the product that was produced on the plantation.
Yes. Sugar, yeah.
They said they got, they mentioned nutmeg also.
Okay.
And coffee, etc.
In terms of where the Dutch were. Yeah.
Yeah, and we know that during the abolition of slavery we had also for here an additional slavery called the so-called apprenticeship.
You're right.
Right.
1834 to 1838.
Yeah, right.
That some of us, and there is a program running on the television sometime in the evening, sometime at night, about a plantation that was located somewhere in the Blue Mountain.
Okay.
And what take place there off the plantation. Over 200 of our ancestors were slaughtered when the declaration of the abolition of slavery was. They didn't see it fit to let us go. Now, Mr. Percy.
So, all right. So you highlight the say what now, Samuel? What's your point?
I'm going to ask you. What would you want? Would you want reparation? Do you want repatriation? Or the finding that these people have found? Would you want some money, or would you want to go back home? And what would Jesus Christ himself say? And God, what would be their response? God and Christ, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, the Father and the Son.
What would I prefer?
Go ahead. I would like to hear what would you prefer. Now that the finding is out, this is just one country, Dutch Netherlands.
But I don't even know what the finding was. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Yes, the finding was that they were using the product of the plantation to enhance the bank, and the bank also used the loan to lend the plantation owner to produce more and to enslave more of us.
Right.
Now, how do you think that God would repay these people? Would he forgive them? Would he love them? Would he kiss them up? No, I'm talking God now, our Father.
Well, God, to my own mind, always applies mercy in every situation. Which is so, the judgment would be, you have done that, so you need to pay for that. But then, in the same instance, he applies mercy if people are repentant.
Miss Lynette, what would your conclusion be in regards to God's judgment on these people?
I could never contradict or question God's judgment on these people. So when you say my conclusion, you mean do I agree with Pastor?
No, I just need your own take on it.
Oh, right. So you're asking me the same question that you asked Pastor. I agree with Pastor.
Scripturally, because
but I agree with him. You pay. I agree with him. You pay for your behavior, but if you show yourself to be repentant, then God is always merciful. Personally, I don't want their money, but
Amen,
I do believe that the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. So I expect God to provide for me with excellence and abundance regardless. And the source of it may be very well from their coffers. But do I want their money? No. Do I want them to pay for it? Yes.
All right.
Their own salvation depends on them paying for it.
How would you want them to pay for it?
Well, right now there are a number of things that need to be done in the world in terms of building social infrastructure and even physical infrastructure, in terms of supporting plans and initiatives that, while they would not put money in my hand personally, can enrich and build my country. And that is the rebalancing that needs to be done on the global stage. The only positive thing about that finding is that they're actually saying it out loud. The next step is to see them do what they ought to do. Much of the damage that will result from climate change comes from the excess and the behavior and the economies that have been built out of the same slave wealth. So there's a lot that can be done to rebalance the equation.
Okay. So the damage is already done.
Yes.
As Junior Reed says, the damage is already done.
Mm-hmm.
But Pastor, and I love how you quoted two scriptural texts, but you didn't point the listeners to the text to read. But Pastor, I will give you one to read now.
Which one is that?
And I'm gonna wait.
Psalms 89:14.
Anyway, what's your view? What is your view? You want money? You want reparation? You want to go back to Africa? What is your position?
I want blood. I want to go home.
You want blood and you want to go home.
Mount Zion.
All right, I think that is a good point.
They are not gonna. Yeah. No, I'm gonna give you the text, please.
All right, go ahead quickly.
They are not gonna give us anything. It's a reveling.
Mm-hmm.
They are actually flaunted it in our face.
Okay.
And this is what the Christ, our brother, our Negro brother.
All right, give the text, please, because we're at the break.
Give us the text, Samuel. What is the text?
I will hold. I have also an announcement to make in regards to that book, so I don't mind.
All right, so you want to hold now then? Let's take the break so we can come back and complete what you're saying.
We'll be right back.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Bass FM. Keep listening.
Hello there. Yes, indeed. This is the prophet Reverend Mark Stewart, inviting each and every one of you to join us for war. It's gonna be a war this and every Wednesday. Of course, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be powerful. Come for the word. Come for the preaching. Come for the teaching. Of course, the music. And of course, midnight warfare prayer with me, the prophet Mark Stewart, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall, Reverend Eric Box, and of course, Reverend Kathy and Thames. For the hard way. Join us every Wednesday night from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Come and join us, will you? Sponsored by all our partners, our friends of the ministry. Will you join us? Yes, indeed. It's going to be powerful. This and every Wednesday, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. We're going to lick it till the bus gone. We're going to lick it till the bus gone. We're going.
Vision Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Vijay Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back, Samuel. You have a scripture and thing. I hear that you have a book that somebody's been asking us for. Destroy Jamaica by Clinton Black. You have it in your possession?
Yes.
Wonderful. So we're gonna tell the man. We're going to give the man your number so he can call you, because he's been calling.
I gave you Mr.
Yeah, I'm the producer, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's all right.
Miss Lynette's husband, just gave him the 2 numbers.
Yes,
Okay.
I mean, thank you so much for responding to that caller's appeal.
Yes, and the condition is I will not take a cent. I would meet him and give an additional book. Also,
yes.
A little one more, Jamaican history.
Ah.
And it shows up also what there's a Taino girl there spanning cotton. And they said the Tainos were copper-colored people. You see, that gentleman had something going,
Mm-hmm.
That gentleman, and I want to meet with him because he knows something in which Sister Vereen Shepherd needs to know. That lady that is running the
reparations.
The Center for Research of Reparation at the university.
Yes.
Yes, because just for the public showing of my people and for the glory of the Most High God and of Christ, we would like a case into the international arena, into the International Court of Human Rights.
Okay.
I need that.
All right.
This is why I'm going all out. But let me put something forth. Yes, that gentleman, he can call me anytime. And I would like him to come and give us a little bit of what
he's doing.
He's researching now under here.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that is,
Well,
secretive.
we'll see if we can. We'll see if we can organize it.
Say again, sis?
No, I'm saying I'll see if we can organize it during this month of February while we're focusing our attention on our own history.
Look here. And this is the right month in which the God of this earth gave us a month called Black Month.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that they didn't give one to the Chinese and to the Arab and to the Harmonites. It's just us. Why us?
You've heard
Do
me.
you think something in it?
Samuel,
I believe that we are precious in His sight.
Yeah, we are. Samuel, my position has been, and you heard me repeated it over time, that the Africans have to take their rightful place to be restored to their rightful place in history for
humanity itself
to come back to completion. So that is. So just understand that. But you see, we're gonna give us a verse. So go ahead and tell us what it is.
Pastor, you're so wrong again.
All right, go ahead, my brother.
You keep saying African. You keep saying African.
So who it is?
And the gentleman says that he was working in a department before we got independence in 1962. He was working in some office of colonial office, and he said that in 1977 the British came back for some papers.
Okay.
Yeah, they came back for something that they have left that they didn't want us to know.
Okay. All right.
And that we are the best kept secret, Pastor. Let me tell you what Christ. Let me show you from the scripture what Christ says. Our brother, the king of terror, has gone to Job.
The king of terror.
Job 14, rather. He is the king of terror.
Okay.
Here's what he says in the book of Revelation, or he wants it. Revelation 13, verse 9 and 10. Read it for the people. And I'm going to ask you something, Miss Lynette, as you read that. Go ahead, Pastor.
He hasn't found it, so you better ask me in the meantime.
Yes, all right. Can the people that took us here in chattel slavery on the slave ship, can they be forgiven? Is there any repentance or penitence in them?
Yes, they can be forgiven.
I've gone to scripture. Can they be forgiven?
They can be forgiven. Are they penitent or repentant? I don't know. I don't believe they've displayed penitence or repentance.
Let me give you a minute and ponder on this. Hebrew 12 and verse 16. It's referring to Esau. You remember the scripture, Jacob I love and Esau I hate?
Yeah.
Yes, Esau was the one who take us here in shackle slavery. Not dismissing the trans-Sahara slave trade. The Arab did it also. Our throat was cut. We were entrained. Our mother's throat was cut going across the desert when they couldn't angle no more.
Let me say something to you.
The world seems to forget that.
Let me say something to you.
Christ and God have not forgot.
Let me say something to you because let me say something to you. When you engage in these discussions, we are doing it on two levels: one spiritual, one natural. In the spiritual, you'd say then the descendants of those who were responsible for the crime continue to carry that responsibility, even though their ancestors have long been dead. In the natural, the persons who took us here, and by us I mean clearly not me. I was born here. The persons who were responsible for taking our ancestors here, they died, no doubt, unrepentant and unforgiven. So they
That's a whole mouthful.
So when you ask, can those who took us here be forgiven and were they repentant? I doubt that they were repentant. I mean, they believed and held on to the practice of slavery way beyond the death of my own literal ancestors. But in today's world, the descendants of those people, can they be forgiven?
Yes.
You're asking? Yes. Can they be repentant? Can they be they can be forgiven if they are repentant.
Pastor, please to read that text for the people.
All right.
Please.
Okay. All right. So Samuel, thank you.
Revelation 13, 9 and 10. This is what God said. It's gone out of his mouth already. It's foregone.
All right. So Samuel, as I said to you all the time, we take different views of it. So we thank you this morning for your...
I'm taking the view of God and Christ.
No, okay, Samuel, thank you. All right, my brother, thanks. Good. When you... Okay. We have a call on the line.
No, man, finish what you're saying.
No, but I'm just saying... Let me not say it.
Don't be.
No, let me not say it.
Reading with understanding is
an
important thing.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, again, yeah. The government looking at restorative practice and so forth.
What is it?
The government looking at what?
Restorative justice. Yes.
Yes, they are one and the same within schools because it's a restorative practice in schools for behavior problem with children and so forth.
Right, good.
So it's a worldwide thing. But one of the things that I've been looking at in it is that sometimes when you're formulating a program to work with those things, if we begin looking at it from where in the belly we can begin training the youth. Mother thinking, mother listening music, mother operation around whatever they are doing when they are pregnant.
That affects the baby.
Yeah. Because,
I say it affects the baby. Whatever the science is emerging that's saying that the way in terms of the environment, as they say, what they listen, what they do, it affects the child. And so you're onto something. So what is your further point, my brother?
I have done the restorative practice training with NIA and support. So
right.
But one thing that I have done when my baby mother was pregnant with my youth and support, I would have speak to the youth and tell you, the youth to jump and support. But the thing that happens now is when the youth born and I come in the room, and I begin speaking to you to turn my way.
That is a science. That is a science.
He knows your voice.
Yeah, so it is something that we are saying. I think what the system out there now needs to begin doing is formulating the programs in the best way they can in those ways from those areas coming on up. And see if we can begin training the youth and changing the attitude within them so that when they become older, after the born, they can now be trained and come up with those attitudes because they would have it from within.
No, that's an excellent point. And there's a gentleman who keeps saying it, that a lot of the problems we are having now really are problems that come out of the home, that come out of parenting. And I'm in agreement with you. So what I hear you saying, my brother, is that even in terms of we do this restorative justice in schools, we even have to go to the home in terms of bringing about a real change.
Yeah.
So have you been able to participate in sessions helping anyone in your community now that you've been trained?
I have tried, and not much person wants to, but we have reason with persons. What I have been looking at lately is seeing how better I can work along with some of the justice of the peace. I've been reasoning with a few, but not getting them coming on board as yet. To see how better we can begin formulating a program within the areas where we are.
Yes.
So other persons have been trained, and maybe some persons who are retired, maybe you'd say police officers who are retired, and so forth.
Yeah, man.
Any judge or lawyers, any persons in those areas, return residents. Because we need to look at how we can really put together something and make it work.
Let me ask you, do you have to be invited into a situation, or are you trained to intervene without invitation?
We were trained to intervene without
invitation.
But at the same time, most of the situation, I think you'd most time be invited, because person, you couldn't just get up and go intervene without person
being willing
to listen to you. Because the person fighting out there, you're partying and you're trying out to bring it together. But if we begin putting this as something within the community, where when the police have a domestic dispute come to them, and suppose they would call this session to these set of persons together and bring them to these sessions.
Yes.
And so we begin working with that. And once you formulate it, then the court would possibly begin using it just like how they use the probation officers and so forth.
Okay, I'm very interested. I think that program holds a lot of promise for building better relations in community. And I congratulate you for being involved and for calling us to share with us, what your experience has been. The very best of luck in what you're doing, and feel free to stay in touch with us.
Yeah, man, keep us informed on what is happening and what we can do to facilitate what you're doing. You never know.
I will always, I will come on board with you whenever anything I'm doing begins bearing fruit.
Yes.
I'll let you know and call you to take a look at what is happening and be a part of it.
No problem.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for trusting us with that. Yeah.
Do we have another call, engineer? Okay, I didn't want us to leave. We ended our conversation with Samuel rather. I would say abruptly. He was going on. He was making several points, which I think you continue to be interested in. He referred you to Hebrew. Well, he referred me to Hebrews, you to Revelation, and wanted you to read Revelation
13.
9 and 10. Whoever has ears, let them hear. If anyone is to go into captivity they will go. If anyone is to be killed with the sword they will be killed. And this is a repeat, actually, of words spoken in by one of the older prophets when judgment was passed on the Israelites, and they themselves were to be published. Who didn't die by the sword? I don't remember it precisely, but it is not the first time that we see words of this nature occurring in the Bible, because the judgment once passed, that is the judgment. And we've had earlier conversations about when does mercy come into play. And we recognize that the judgment of God always includes an element of mercy.
Always, from beginning to end.
Yeah. And even when the children of Israel were going into captivity, were going to Babylon, the prophet Jeremiah was instructed to send them a letter, which today we still use to give ourselves hope. Because even though you are going into captivity, there is still a future that is promised to you. I did like what he said, though, in his own. He wants blood and he wants to go home.
Yeah. And
can't deny a man his desire for vengeance.
Yeah.
And really, of a fact, the only thing that maybe the only difference between us, if there is a difference, is that I understand that vengeance belongs to God. I still desire it. I just want him to be the one to exact it.
Goes back to the point you made earlier about the muscle.
Why we don't celebrate when our enemies fall.
It's a change of heart in terms of understanding.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hi, it's me again, Miss Lynette. Has that gentleman called us yet?
No, he hasn't called us yet. But I think we have his number. We have his number. The scholar who wants the book.
Clinton Black.
Yes, we do have his number, don't we?
Yes.
Mr. Engineer, we have the number for the
gentleman who called.
Yes, I believe he's a regular listener. So I do hope he will call, and I'm sure maybe the only challenge is him getting through. But with that link is definitely going to be made.
Permit me, if you will, Miss Lynette.
Go ahead.
But I'm going to speak both practically and spiritually. Not that spirituality is not practical, but
the practicals comes out of the spiritual. They will not give us any reparations. Okay.
And they will not, unlike what they did to the Jewish people after World War II. And they will not repatriate us. And I will emphasize again over and over and over, we are not Africans. Africans is a constitution of more than 50 countries. Miss Lynette. And if anyone was to come from anywhere part of Africa and you ask them, they will tell you exactly where. Nigeria, Ghana, etc., etc.
When I went to Nigeria, they told me that I am Yoruba. So, yes, we understand that. When I went to Nigeria, I was immediately identified as a member of the Yoruba tribe.
Exactly.
So we understand that.
These things, we need to stop claim Africa. Understand me?
Let me ask you a question. What is the mother? Where's the mother? Where is the mother of civilization?
It's in continental Africa.
Okay.
Let me be just be practical.
So the practical thing is
no,
there's no technically, because if you are being technical, you are being practical.
Look here,
you've brought out the scientist in Pastor now.
So we are agreed that Africa is considered where civilization was birthed.
The civilization
was birthed. Yeah. So we agreed on that.
Eden, okay, but the garden was planted east of Eden, okay, and let me make the whole world know this, and they can do the research for themselves.
Yeah,
geologists, chemists. That land called Israel, all the way to the Euphrates, and that's somewhere in Syria, and near present-day Iraq, and the river Tigris near Syria, and the river Gayaan, that is now known as the Blue Nile, encompassing Ethiopia, all the way to the northern border of the main Nile that goes through Egypt to the Mediterranean Sea. That's where the Garden of Eden was. And let me tell you this. The scripture said the Lord planted the garden east of Eden. No, that land that is known as the land of Israel, not that little piece. Let me make it clear that the so-called Israeli are killing the Palestinians, which is a transliteration for Philistines. Are killing for. That's just Jerusalem.
Okay.
That's what your and mine, Miss Lynette and Pastor Percy, former city, capital city and that's why I use the term technical. It's also part of Africa.
Okay, all right. So we agree.
It's look here. When you remember the story with our brother Yahushai,
Samuel,
and Herod,
Samuel,
and Mary and Joseph, they took a donkey and come into mainland in Egypt.
Samuel.
They didn't have to cross that river that they'd cut 100 years ago. Now called the canal. What they call that canal again?
Suez Canal. Samuel.
The Suez Canal. Yes.
Samuel.
They didn't have to. No, we can swim. There's a bridge crossing.
Samuel.
Controlled by Israel.
Samuel.
So we can walk.
Samuel.
So that's what I'm saying. That's our homeland. How did we get into Africa?
Samuel.
How did we get into Africa? But I want to clear up something.
All right, Samuel. Clear up the point, Samuel.
Yeah.
Miss Lynette.
Yes.
That text that you read from.
Yes.
We need to stick to the old King James version.
Samuel.
You see that? Moreover, Miss Lynette.
Yes.
Samuel, I'm going to cut you off. Samuel, I'm going to cut you off because you are having a monologue, and we keep saying to individuals, we are having a dialogue here. All right. So.
Okay, I'm going to listen to what you're saying.
No, good, right. Thank you. Good.
He's listening what you're saying.
No, I'm not going to say anything because I've been trying to say it makes a point, and I'm trying to say, you see, talking the thing, and I'm filling in the gaps because I'm aware of a lot of things that he's speaking about. But he says he's going to go spiritual then practical. But the concepts, let's focus on the spiritual concept. He's maintaining that because we came in ships, that we are the real Jews. And I'm saying, no, Samuel. The history of the world and the archaeology does not speak to that. And
okay.
Yes.
Well, for me, these points of dispute that seem to be very important to you are of less importance to me.
Yeah.
I know who I am in Christ, in God, and I'm content with that. I know enough of the history of my beginnings to find my place in today's world. I know you're still there. I think we're trying to...
No, listen it.
Yes.
I was trying to make a point in regards to the book that you read from. Revelation. It's the last book. It's not anything about...
Yes, and you're saying I should use the King James Version.
Judgment Day.
Samuel. All right. Okay.
And you're saying I should use the King James Version. I've used the NIV. But you see... Go ahead.
Miss Lynette.
Yes.
Some versions are corrupted to divert your attention and don't give you the right meaning.
All right,
the book is the book of Revelation. It's the final act that God will perform. He said, "Those that lead us."
All right, Samuel. I don't want the morning's discussions to be overwhelmed by these fine points about interpretation of Scripture. This is not the place for it, and it's not what I want to do.
Samuel. Okay, Samuel. Thank you.
All right. Do we have another caller? Oh, because it would have been... Yeah. All right. I'm not even going to prolong this. One of the things that I really do not want us to do is to get bogged down in fine points of interpretation of Scripture.
And Paul warned against that. You know.
He does, because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It is dangerous. Somebody said he should go and read a book. Somebody else says he needs to read historical evidence.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yes, miss. Good morning. Good morning, miss.
Good morning.
Yeah, man. And good morning to everyone, Pastor, and everyone. Yeah, bless. Yeah, man. All right, just you know.
I know.
Samuel, yeah, man. Samuel is, because I know Samuel is my name, but his name is Samuel still. So my father named Samuel, so I have to put on the S on the surname.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. So Samuel. So, you know, we carry a message that we carry in a different ways, but, you know, because Samuel is a servant and a messenger. So, but me, yeah, man. So right now, still.
Most accurate prophet in the history.
Yeah, man. I always love to read about Samuel and I vibe me, man. So, yeah, man. So, you call him Mother Hannah. Yeah, man, and Elkanah.
Right.
Yeah. So, definitely still. Miss, you see the judge thing. The topic they talk about me here. Sometimes some people do something and they say must not judge. But it's not judge, you know. When you see somebody and look at them and judge him, I say you judge. But we have different ways of judging. You have exact precise. You have righteous judgment. That's why righteousness is said, because even John 7:24 tells us you can't judge righteously. And even Deuteronomy 1:16 also. So you can't judge any about righteous. We not judge, you must judge righteousness by righteousness, you know. So you have to judge righteousness.
Yeah,
in the Bible.
we didn't spend a lot of time talking about it, but you're right. Judgment arises in different settings.
So
and
if I see somebody do something bad, I have somebody see me do something bad right now, and you can't see that man a wicked. Okay, sure, me just do a while ago.
You just judge, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not when you look on somebody and say my thief, and you never know it, but you might look raga. And then when you judge, the wrong judgment, that is not right to ever judge somebody. But if somebody doesn't do what wickedness people do, they have no answer, because some people do things and I say, boy, if you leave all judgment to God, no, really so. The Bible says you leave all judgment to God, that's the final part to the condemnation. You don't really condemn a person, but you judge a person and say that's a wicked person or that's an evil person.
Based on their actions. Based on their actions.
Yeah, man. Yeah, blessed. Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Thank you for that comment. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning.
Yes. How are you?
Not bad.
Like Santa.
I think these Samuel, I think you're giving Samuel too much time. You hear me?
I heard you.
Samuel, out of about 10 times that man called, he only talked one thing that is important to what is going on right now in the world or Jamaica. It's always trying to give some quiz or something like that. There are more important things to talk about, Samuel. You seem to be a bright person, so come on. Say something that can help the situation that is going on today in Jamaica.
All right. Now that you have delivered your message to Samuel, what do you have for me?
What?
What do you want to tell me?
I didn't plan
anything.
You
didn't plan. That's all right. Your message has been delivered.
So what do you think in terms of what's happening in the
It's time for the break anyway, so it's just as well that you didn't have much more to say. Have a good day, my brother. Let's take our break.
We'll be right back.
We're committed to reducing the impact of disasters occurring in Jamaica. We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. But everybody have a role to play, so make we work together and follow the plan. Whether rich or poor or where you come from, hurricanes affect everyone, so be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Be prepared. Listen to ADPEM. A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Fast FM. Keep listening.
The Aeronautical School of the West Indies presents Squawk 876, a fun and informative program where you will learn about flying, aircraft systems, weather, maintenance, and much more. Tune in to Best 100 FM this and every Wednesday at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Vejan Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vejan Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection. Caller on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, my sister.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. Morning, Pastor.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Why? I'm here, you know.
You must have been here in the program since morning.
Yeah, man. I tell you, I want to say something, but I try to resist.
You're resisting the urge.
Resist the urge and the temptation. What is it you're concerned about?
Man, listen. This is gentleman named Samuel. I think we need when Dr. Master was in the program, you know. If Dr. Master never had no tolerance for him for his ideas, you know.
Okay.
Because it seems so you can't use the Bible. If everything you use the Bible as his reference, his history book. You can't use the Bible. You can't use a book that is 2,000 years old or something like so.
It's actually longer than that, but anyway. But pick your point. It's it's big. It's longer than that.
You need to resist it too.
Yeah, man. So go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Some parts are older and some are not.
The same Bible we come here, you know.
It did.
Because some Africa come here. You have a book like the Bible that I think all black people should detest a book like that, you know. I don't care what nobody wants to tell me.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, because that is the same book that the man them use and capture us and enslave us. And the same book a man I use as a reference point, and then he must talk about saying he want to go back to Africa. What's wrong with him, man?
Well, no, not Africa, because
no, not going back to Africa.
I really want to go back over where we want to go. You can't, yeah. Okay. Anyhow,
go ahead.
When a man says, like the gospel, and say the gospel according to, what does that mean? That you can explain that to me, please?
According to Mark or according to Luke.
Right.
In the account, yeah. That's what it means. According to the account that he remembered. Because one of the things, and I tell you, you must go read it, you know, but if you don't want to go read it,
he's obviously reading it. Where do you think he got that from?
No, man, it's some research, man. And it's to go church, you know. Remember a young time, to go Sunday school and all them things, you know.
So what happened? What happened?
No, you don't want to hear. That's a dangerous question. You don't want to hear what happened.
I'm becoming like.
He became enlightened.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it says according to the accounts in regards to the person. So it's Matthew.
Yeah, but
Matthew.
I like to see what you read about Paul and all them man there. They don't look like them about that. Like second-hand information them write about.
No, some of the people are there. Like Luke was on the journeys with Paul. That's why I could write it in so much detail.
Then, all right. Would you suppose a man like Hitler come about now and tell you some of the things that Paul tell you about like said tell you? Would you want to believe a man like Hitler?
Believe a man like Hitler, because some of the time we think is the person and not the source. Because some of the times, and you ever heard this thing, listen to the message and not to the person who's bringing the message. Because some of the time, even though you don't like the person, what they're actually saying to you make a whole lot of sense. You know that, right?
But you have to be very suspicious.
Right, but you still discern, because even with some of the things that you hear some people say, because of them I say, you don't take it on at all. But some of the times there's a lot of truth in what the person is saying. Is that correct, Minette?
Yes.
Yes, I agree, you know, but what I'm saying.
You're going to be suspicious, and I agree with you, you're going to be suspicious, so you're going to have to discern between what they're saying, if it is, what I'd call it, is become polluted by the messenger himself. Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I don't think the Christians look on Paul in that light. Paul was to persecute Christians and all the things. I don't believe they look at Paul in that light, you know.
In what light?
He was transformed.
Because of his farmer association and what he has done in his farmer. I don't believe people look at him in that type of way.
No, but I think it gave him credibility. If a man who was that opposed to a thing is now the voice of it, then there must be some value, is what one would say, because he was known to be so opposed to it. But tell me what's in your heart. What's really your concern?
No. I'm struggling with how people view the Bible, you know.
Okay.
Well, the fundamentalists say that the Bible is the inerrant, infallible word of God. And they apply it strictly and rigidly, and every word that is in it is true in exactly how it is written. That has created great problems, and it seems to be creating. And I have a problem with it too. I have a problem with that too. because of how the Bible is constructed. It has history, it has poetry, and it has accounts of
prophetic
actions that took place during a particular period of time. And so some of the words that are used are heavily steeped in culture, in the culture of the day, in the science of the day. When David says that the sun completes its circuit around, not around, when it completes the circuit across the sky, suggesting that the sun itself is moving. And then later on, better science shows us that the sun does not move. It is the earth that moves. There are some people who say the world is flat. I think Samuel himself said it one morning to my shock, because of how, and I said, what's your source? And he says, the Bible. So you see how that works. But over time, Bible scholars have almost unanimously come to the recognition, the realization that you can distill the prophetic words from the historical words, from the genealogy offerings that are there, from the different elements that make up the book. But the book itself and what it contains has not been discredited. It's really how man has approached it at different points in history that has created hardship for us.
Yeah, so shouldn't we just accept the Bible as a great book of historical, cultural, and so on, and just move on?
Well, it depends on your spiritual position
and your faith.
For many years, that is how I treated the Bible. I mean, I loved Greek mythology, and there are many stories from different civilizations about how people worshipped and who they believed. You had the Norse gods, you had the Roman gods, and the stories of how those gods related with mankind are as attractive and ingenious as any story you would read in the Bible. And for a time, I was of the view that maybe in years to come, the Bible would be just like another book of stories that people regard as attractive and imaginative.
If we continue to be so preoccupied with everything what the Bible says, and and other aspect of our lives, and national issues and all the type of thing, we're not paying much attention to. Because I've always said, religion, most countries that are so religious, never do well to take care of the basic needs of the people,
I don't know if I agree with you on that, but we always seek to separate religion from spirituality. Organized religion in its worst form has been a terror for mankind. In the name of God, many atrocities are committed. But civilizations that have acknowledged that there is a divine and a sacred relationship between creator and man, those civilizations that honor that relationship and seek to replicate it through the principles they apply in nation building, those civilizations do well. The story of Israel, as recounted in the Bible, shows you the times when they did it and it worked well for them. And then you have other places that didn't, and it didn't work so well. But we have another caller on the line. I hope we've helped a little bit. We might have to continue this another morning.
I keep saying there's a big but.
I'll have to call back another time.
There's a big but.
Yeah.
There's a big but. All right, thanks for calling, though.
Well, I won't admit to any big but.
But is the person of Jesus Christ. That's what I'm saying, but.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Africa love, my brother and sister.
Africa love, Raskremlin.
Raskremlin, how you doing?
I'm there, hang on. But I want to ask about two questions.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Is there a thing named righteous judgment?
Yes.
Yeah. Like me, that's saying, Goliath get a righteous judgment from David.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fear him get a righteous judgment from Jah after Moses.
After Moses, yes.
And him go on like him no want let them go.
True.
Right. I mean, I say Jesus Christ, according to the story in the Bible, him get a unjust judgment because the judgment come through man.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Right?
Yes.
So the only judgment we me accept as righteous judgment is like what happened to Goliath and what happened to the guy named Pharaoh.
Okay.
And those two you associate with the judgment of God, which is the whole important point, that it is the righteousness of God that makes those judgments
not ours.
Secure, not ours. And it's why we are told not to judge. Not that we shouldn't make decisions and come to any conclusions about human conduct. But
Ross Kremlin, as we speak about righteousness, because even to the looker on, them can look and say what is right and what is wrong. Not true?
Right.
Yeah, and so therefore, that is why we keep saying the righteousness, which is what God has pointed out to us, is how you must live your life in relation to your brother. Treat him good, love him, that kind of thing. So when you step outside of that, then the righteous judgment of God can be upon you, in because of how you have related to the same brother or sister that has been created in the image and likeness of God.
But you're both.
Even the 10 Commandments is a judgment.
Yeah, because I'd say if you do this, this is what's gonna happen. Yeah, correct.
Right. You know what I mean? And all of that is coming through righteousness.
True.
Love the neighbor as yourself.
But you're both highlighting an important component of judgment, which is the execution part. Meaning, it's one thing to come to a decision, but to put it into effect is another part. And so all the discussions about judgment involve not just coming to a conclusion about the rightness or wrongness of a thing, but then executing whatever it is you have determined. All of us will come to a conclusion about other people's conduct. But we should forbear from treating them in the way that we have determined, because we don't have the righteousness to carry that out.
All right. Even the crucifixion of the story, when him named Pilate, him watch Freeman.
That's him not want to be a part of that.
Not be a part of that, because him not find this man guilty of broken no law of Rome.
Yeah.
But him still get judgment.
True.
Yes, because he made the decision and he didn't prevent it.
Yes, him use a psychology, because him is there to crucify the man, but him use the people.
So that is what them want.
When name Pilate.
Pilate, yeah.
You want Barabbas or Barnabas or
Barabbas.
Or whatever. When him could have said, no, you can't crucify this man according to the law of Rome, because this man don't break no law of Rome.
True.
Take the man off of the cross. Him did have the authority to do that.
But him pass it on, as a lot of us are prone to do.
All right, my brother. So you see, one must understand that there is righteous judgment coming through the Almighty. And any judgment come through man, it illegal, it not right.
It not right.
The man now no power for judge high. Our judge, Miss Lawrence or Bongo Percy. Leave all judgment to I. Him said that.
That's why it says, vengeance is mine, I'll repay. So even the thing which a lot of people grapple with, and I want to introduce that, the whole thing of forgiveness. A lot of people, to my own mind, are bound because they can't forgive the person for the offense. And even when, so it's important, the whole thing of forgiveness and judgment, they go hand in hand.
But forgiveness becomes an easier thing to accomplish when you withhold judgment.
Right. And even these two parties, with them so mighty, right? And I deal with some things against the people. Uncle, when they come to election, them come meet out of the people, them pot. So, from a call and get the program, it's like, it's a Dr. Bird around me, not leave it,
That's good.
The bird don't leave it, and I see the bird, I said, Jah Rastafari. And the bird don't leave me up to now.
Good.
See the bird there? Right now, I look on the bird.
All right.
Well, give him a greeting for us.
All right.
Right. So my brother just hold it, because we not hold up the program. But no way too long, We just lick our nail on the head.
Okay, then.
Right?
All right, brother. Thank you.
And one more thing, as I say, I don't like when callers discredit the other caller. I don't like it.
Okay. We try to tell them not to. It speaks. Right. Yeah, right.
Okay, my brother. Give thanks. I have all of the best of the day with the FM.
All right, sir. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hello, good morning and welcome to Portmore.
Aye, the new parish.
The new parish. I've never asked, never went think about that still, you know.
Morning to your listeners and your valuable callers. Pastor.
Yes, never.
Portmore not ready yet.
Okay, thank you, sir.
But it is all about money.
Yes.
And we have the St. Catherine Parish Council.
Mm-hmm.
In that the votes that they get from Portmore here, the PNP, put them in control of the St. Catherine Parish Council.
Okay.
And the JLP wants that council because there's a lot of money in that council. So they want to control the St. Catherine Parish Council to manipulate it to their political advantage and cut off Portmore as a parish by itself so that they have their own municipality. You follow the math?
Yes, it's all about the money.
All
Follow
about
the money.
Bad mind and money.
But I want to know, in that configuration, Neville, does Portmore stand to prosper or lose from being on their own? When they are taken out of St. Catherine, do they lose?
Yeah, well, let me tell the people of Portmore and Jamaica something. You see, when them cut it off, Portmore from being a parish, Portmore will have to raise its own revenue. So they're going to raise your property tax. They're going to double your property tax.
Wow.
And that's now where them going to get money from. And when a Portmore man gets sick, and the hospital there in a Portmore, and him have to run go over St. Catherine, you're going to hear the St. Catherine people say, oh, you have people from other parishes are coming in front of me over my parish.
Wow.
So what they're doing now is that they are segregating the people, increasing the bad mind, and mashing up the people's meditation. And most of the people can't even fathom that.
But are social services and the like structured in that way currently? Where
social service?
I know
social
service? There's a gully that is on Passage Fort Drive near where I live. About 8 months now it don't clean out there, stink. All tree are growing at the gully. If you plant a mango tree in the gully, it grow within 4 years. Sorrel in the gully will grow. Portmore needs shoving.
Shrubing.
Wakaman.
Yeah, man, yes.
Yeah.
Portmore have a whole heap of wakaman. And you see the wakaman, them drive around and walk around and look work every day, and the parish council wouldn't even employ them to give Portmore a sanitization. The trees them in Portmore, they want to prune.
But right now, those activities, it's not that a parish gets to spend the money that is generated from property taxes and so on there. It all goes into the consolidated fund right now.
Then that's a part of the thieving thing we are going in the country, man. And the people, I don't want to disrespect any people out there, but I'll tell you this, Pastor and Lynette, and the listeners, Miss Minute.
Mm-hmm.
Portmore have the most illegal and informal business in Jamaica. And country parish can't run, sir.
No.
Look here, I give 4 hours worth of community service between Portmore, Kingston, and St. Andrew every week. 4 hours work, free work. And you can believe me, say, every client that I got to in my free work venture, my voluntary work, you know them know me before me know them? Because they listen to my voice on the radio and they're glad to meet me, and I want to thank SFM for this opportunity. And you know, some of them even willing to pay me for my service when they get my service, even though I'm doing it voluntarily.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds to me...
Portmore not ready yet.
But it sounds to me, Neville, that this kind of aspirational challenge of being a parish could be something that leads to greater organization on the ground.
Really?
I mean, of businesses getting themselves registered and in order, of greater tax compliance.
Re-education.
Don't need a re-education.
5 in 4.
But that would be a part of it.
But you know, to say what my sister is saying, 5 in 4 was aspirational. Remember? You remember that, Neville?
How have you become so cynical?
How
the pastor gets so cynical?
Gregor Park?
Yes.
Gregory Park is one of the oldest places in Portmore, right?
Yes, that's true.
And Gregory Park is the murder capital of Portmore. You'd have to gentrify Gregory Park before Portmore can become a parish. And I hear that they're planning to put Riverton City as part of Portmore. Them junk? No, more ask Andrew Wallace and them bag of merry men and women if them junk.
That's true, Neville. I didn't hear that. That is, they have proposed the boundary lines.
City as part of Portmore to widen their political belt.
Are you serious?
You know, all of these politicians should baptize before they go into parliament.
They should repent.
And they should do a lie detector test as well. You know?
Okay, well, I do know that the business of setting the boundaries for the parish that is yet to be finalized.
No, that is
I hope it is a public matter and it's not just something that is handed down.
Especially those who own the house over here, must rebel about Portmore becoming a parish at this time and deal with infrastructure development.
Yeah, because there was a dispute publicly between E.G. Hunter and the Portmore about some
infrastructure for
infrastructure law for cleaning for some roadway. I was in the paper last week. You remember that?
Yeah, yes, man. Well, let me tell you something now. I'm never done because I don't want to talk too much again.
Yes.
It's 3 money giving them trouble in the world and in Jamaica. 3 set of money. The pension money. Right now, the government borrow up the whole of the pension money from all of the pension scheme them in Jamaica. And him use it in a political endeavor, and them now have no money to pay the old people them back for them pension. So them dying for some of them dead out. That'll give them trouble. The interest rate to them pile on from them compound interest in them bank and them credit union, they now have no money to pay that. And the inflation are mad them.
Yeah.
So what, let me tell you this before I leave, very critical. The judges in the circuit court, those judges that judging people, and the governor generals and the prime ministers, they retire with their pension as their pay. And what the judge is telling them now, the retired judges, their pension is not indexed to inflation.
Okay.
So when they reach 10 years in their retirement, the medical, because they use their brain so much, enough of them suffering from brain disease and they don't have enough pension to satisfy their medical. And a lot of them have pets like puss and dog. And they can't mind the dog and the puss when they are in pension.
Okay.
And they put in pressure on the government now to increase their pension.
Or index it.
And the government having problem to find the money from Nigel Point to Moran Point. So they might use our strategy to take the poor people money. They can't go give the judge them for them pension and the governor general them when they retire, when they get old, and see them wife are going at dementia and all sort of schizophrenia. And when the doctor tell them, say, a 2 million for that surgery, and they put pressure upon the government to give them more pension, and the government are coming a place like Portmore to turn it in a parish, to get parish council to rake out money to can't go give them on them pension so that them can live life till them dead, and the poor get poorer. And we expect Jesus to come solve that. We really expect Jesus to come solve that, Pastor?
No, he never said that. He gave us the power to do what we need to do. Yeah, man.
You know the last thing Jesus said on the cross before him dead? Hello?
Go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He said, Father, forgive them, because they don't know what they're doing. You know, we set up people don't know what they're doing. It's either you're mad or you don't know exactly what you're doing, or you're unconscious of what you're doing. And Jamaica is being run by some mad people who don't care about people. Because they're not a Christian, you know?
Okay.
These people are not child of God.
Okay.
All right, Neville. Thank you.
Right,
Thank you, Neville.
All right, thanks.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think the present government, Portmore is a PNP stronghold from ever since.
Will it change in the last election?
Well, they want to take the whole of Portmore. So that's the plan. They want to take the whole, everything. JLP, the present government now, they want to win every parish council. That's their plan. That's what I see. But anyway.
But let me ask you a question. If that plan was on track, why is it that they have postponed the parish council elections a year?
I think because they don't think they can win everything, so they're gonna group up together and spend some money and do some promotion.
Okay. All right. Good. All right.
To win.
Good.
And that's why you see the Prime Minister, he's advertising some things that like the some other minister supposed to do.
Okay.
He's popularizing himself. He's on TV, he's on radio.
That's true. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
All right.
All right. What was before Percy distracted you with that question? What were you going to say?
Oh. Do you believe in ghosts?
In ghosts?
Yes.
Meaning spirits?
Spirit, yeah.
I believe in spirits, yes.
You do?
Yes.
Have you ever seen one?
Yes.
Oh, well, there are people that don't believe that ghosts exist.
And more maybe not seen, I should say, experience.
Well, I have seen ghosts. I saw my grandmother after she died. She came in the room and I was showing my father and he couldn't see her. And I smell her, the same scent that she had before she died, and she was across the room like jumping up. And my father heard some words and she just
disappeared,
hung on her head and disappeared. And I was not dreaming. It was real.
No, you're not dreaming. You're not dreaming.
I was not dreaming when I saw her.
So what led you to share that with us this morning? What conversation we're having that brought that memory?
In the spiritual, supernatural?
No, I just want to ask you guys if you believe in ghosts.
Okay.
No, my other thing now is the flood.
No.
The flood. Do you
asked us that question already?
Believe in the flood?
Yes, I believe that the world was destroyed in a cataclysmic water event.
The entire world covered by water?
Yeah. And interestingly, if you
well, I don't know if it's the entire world. I do know that there was a massive event.
Yeah.
Most of because they've done research in.
If you look at the fossil record, an important thing that people use is a fossil record.
Yeah, they've seen it in America, they've seen it in Europe.
Right. And how things should have been
Africa?
All over the place. How it should have been laid down if, as people say, how it is, you go to different places where the things are supposed to be, it's not there. And it would point to the fact that in the fossil record, something of that nature happened.
A single event.
Yeah, a single event happened.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're all guessing. Nobody's sure exactly what
fossil. But if you, all right. So we believe in carbon dating. You know what carbon dating is?
No, I don't.
Oh, carbon dating is how they can look at something and use a
chemical method.
To determine in terms of the half-life of chemicals. That's simply putting it. So if you say carbon decays over time, they use that to say how far the carbon is present as decayed in terms of aging stuff. So it's the same thing in terms of the fossil record. When you look at it, based on what you find in it, it should have been laid down in a certain order. What they're discovering in different places, the way, the expectation of how it should be, that's not it is. And it points to the fact that, what's the word you use? Something
cataclysmic
happen.
A single event.
Yeah, that changed it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But why are you asking?
Well, why I asked about the flood?
Yes.
I don't believe the world could be covered by water if it's around and in space.
Well, it's a question of the science. Maybe your understanding of
somebody would roll
gravity.
Off some of the gravity field.
How the atmosphere is held together.
In place, yeah.
Yeah. One last thing. Noah made that ark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How did they get into it?
God saved 8 people.
8 people and a lot of animals. Mm.
God knows the future, the past, the present, everything.
Everything.
So didn't God know that those 8 people going to come and mess up the world again? Why didn't he just destroy everything and start anew?
That is the question. But some people are asking, why is it that God has given us free will? And we close on that point.
Well, we're taking our break now. We've gone past the break, my brother, 9:32. If you can stay with us, please do. If not,
No, I'll call back.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Fast FM. Keep listening.
Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back. We have 2 callers on hold. May we take the first one, please? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, best family.
Good morning, Wayne. How are you?
Good, Good. Listening, working, listening, Bless up. Let me see now.
You have a list?
When the Virgin asks about why God never does destroy everybody, when you read through the Bible properly, even a Revelation when it shows the chosen, the elected, the saved as a Lord, when you go punish them people for the wickedness them do. And him say, let's give it a little more time. We have some more people who come through the trials and the tribulation and gain the victory. And when that's up, we give them the final judgment,
Mm-hmm.
So you say, most of God know what I'm doing. I think the Bible is a perfect book. As I listen to the first, speak highly of it.
Always merciful.
But it's just to really read the understanding. Because you say again, remember when Yahshua trod through the earth and the devil tempt him and bring upon him, the devil use scripture verses make Yahshua do things when nothing do.
And him say no.
All right, he might give the better interpretation now. He might give other interpretation and make him know that it did mean. They say you have people out there who work with the deceitful spirit and we give people wrong interpretation of the Bible to make the Bible look away. Because the Bible demands us to do what we need to do, You understand me? So every time God send him prophets and him saints, them all is that teach us how we're supposed to live. That means that we're supposed to live in and doing these things,
True.
So when we turn and make these political leaders all over the world reach for them there and feel so powerful and mighty, we are run behind money instead of righteousness and justice. Because with righteousness and justice, everything fall in place,
True.
But you run the money without righteousness and justice, everything will go crumble. Everything when we work over the years, in a twinkling of an eye, it will crumble as His Majesty say, And as the scripture say, it will crumble. So, no, whole thing for talk about still more time, more time, I'm tell you. We just need to work, we need to come together. Because again, if when we come together, them are going to fight against us. And them gonna kill us. Them take up responsibility and not fulfill them responsibility and not kill us. And when we come together, them are going to fight against us. They say we can approach the problem peacefully as much as possible, you know. But there are times come we have to take up arms and fight, you know, if we have to do that, you know.
If that is what is necessary, yeah.
And the last of the first, you know, we carry out every peaceful means necessary for justice. But after that, a war, you know, because God is a man of peace and patience, you know, but he have a time when wrath.
Okay.
Bless up. They are listening. Love on them. Miss Minette?
Yes, sir.
Minette. Love you, you know. You have a clean spirit there, too, man. Love you. Bless up. Bless up your husband. I have a good wife.
All right, sir. I'll be sure to tell him. All right, man. Wayne. Have a good day. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yes, Miss. Yes, Miss.
Righteousness.
Said, yeah. You know, sometimes, you know, we have to understand each other and come to one understanding and everything, you know, because when we see it, they come here, them saying, the word righteousness out of the Bible. You see it. And so some people write over the Bible and after them, I will say, brother will say,
King James.
The original Bible is better than the King James version, because right now, them have change up the word in the Bible and confuse the people, because some of them, you know, see it. It's not a right, it's a corrupt for you that. Because they might to suit themselves. But God's word must not change up every minute to suit your way. It's like you make a laugh, you suit yourself. So when you do nothing, you know, wrong. And then you tell people to just leave it to God. Something in the right, the world can't run, so everything you do anything wrong, and you just leave it to God till when come. We have to wait till God come, when judgment come before. So you can't do that and go on, you know. No, like that. That righteousness. You see, self-righteousness is different. But you see, your righteousness of God, 2 Corinthians 5, verse 21. You understand? Tell you. Righteousness in Christ. See, we are ambassadors of Christ, you know, so we are having to say the word. But it's still our righteousness, because some people are talking about self-righteousness, they don't know what it means. There's a lot of misunderstanding in the Bible right now, even amongst spiritual, amongst Christians, you know.
True.
Because God said one righteousness, you know. You understand? Because our righteousness, the Bible tells about our righteousness. You know, the Bible, it's right now, says the Lord reward me, you know, according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands. Not the next man righteousness. So if somebody else say, if me say my righteousness, you can't say self-righteous. It all depends on how you do the work. If you do evil and I say your righteousness, that's wrong. If you're in a Sodom and I say your righteousness, that is wrong. But you have people that want to call judge and your righteousness. Your children, your righteousness can't save your children.
That has to
if
be
your righteousness cannot save, the Bible says no, and Daniel righteousness and Job can't see the righteousness cannot save them children. So you have to have your righteousness.
But
and come back again and tell you again too.
Well, self-righteousness.
Righteousness.
Self-righteousness.
It's about your right. As long as you follow the commandment of God, that is your righteousness.
Self-righteousness really though refers to you setting your own standards of what's right and wrong, not creating standards or observing standards that are derived from the righteousness of God. So, you can be right according to your own rules.
It's your righteousness.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
if you follow the righteousness of God, Deuteronomy 6, verse 25 says, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord, our God, as He had commanded us. It's our righteousness. Yes. So if you follow the commandment of God, it's your righteousness. Come out, judge your country righteousness. Because Psalm 9 verse 8 says, the Lord shall judge the world according to righteousness because out of the world by now. So your righteousness depends on where you call your righteousness. If you follow the commandment of God, it's your righteousness. But if you not follow the commandment of God and you keep the other righteousness, it's not, that is your self-righteous.
All right, righteousness. Thanks for that. Thank you very much, brother.
Thanks. Yeah. Bless.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yes, morning. I was really surprised when Africa Love he said that man cannot judge because man is not capable because he's not worthy. But does that mean we should abolish the court system and judges?
No, he's not saying that. What I'm hearing him saying, and I can't interpret, a lot of the court system is based upon, comes out of what is in the word of God in terms of how you can kill, don't covet, that. So it comes out of that. So
delegated authority.
Well, if you say that, Jamaica has chosen not to follow God's law, which says murderers must be destroyed.
Okay. So
Jamaica wants more murders and deserves more murders. Deserves.
All right. So, okay.
Yes, because when you go against God, you go against yourself.
True.
Yes.
You are very much.
That's about it.
Yeah. Okay. So we have another caller. So what I hear is saying your position simply is that if people commit themselves and they go through the justice system and they have proven to be against the law, then what must happen is that it must follow the course. So you believe in the death penalty. That's correct.
That's what I just said. They must be destroyed.
Okay, all right.
And I hate it from the earth.
All right then. Okay, my brother. Thank you.
Simple as that. That's called judgment.
All right then.
Decision.
Okay, thanks. Good.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good
Have
morning.
I reached out really just crossed or whatever?
Jigsaw, behave yourself, sir. Behave yourself.
Please. You just a little bit of laughing at this, you know. It can get too serious.
But you know, Jigsaw, let me tell you, you see the issues of justice and righteousness are in a lot of people's heart. That is why you see people commenting and say, well, you want justice. Because they recognize...
but it's not... Sorry, go ahead.
They recognize that an action by something is wrong, something wrong about it. And they are believing that there must be consequences to people's actions. That's what I hear people saying. Some people are split on whether, like my friend who believes in the death penalty, some people believe in that people can be forgiven and so on. So go ahead and speak. I'm just trying to summarize what I've been hearing people saying.
So I don't want to get crossed up.
You're running away from it.
Yeah. Anyhow, callers, I make an appeal to those people who want to dominate the program and turn it into a quiz on the presenters. Can we desist?
Yeah, that's what we're asking them.
It's a dialogue.
Yeah.
You talk and you listen and you respond to what the presenter is asking.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are not listening and we just ignore, the other voice.
Yeah.
Please, regular. We want to enjoy the program. And we want to learn. And if you're not responding to the question of the presenter, we're not getting to appreciation of what is being communicated.
True.
So what is the dialogue you want to have with us this morning?
No, I don't.
Oh, yes.
what was the thing? No, I'm making a request.
Okay, I got it.
One other thing, though.
Yes.
A lot of callers get into trouble because of the credit.
Yeah.
They need to buy the whatever plan, whatever network. And I know one that you can buy a 5-day plan and you're not in a rush.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Watching your credit.
All right, thank you for that reminder.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's one thing.
And we'll do a lot better.
Yes.
But there's one little talk because the minutes come finish.
All right, sir. Yeah, have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
It's a lovely day. Let's embrace it.
That is true.
That is so true.
All right. There's something that was raised by one of our listeners online that I just want to refer to before we take our leave. Someone asked when we were going to speak about this move by the government, announced with such flair by the Prime Minister and Minister Chang all getting behind it, this move to cleanse the country of dirty money and a deliberate, I would say, attack on the construction industry.
Mm-hmm.
Today in the paper, you have the Financial Investigation Division vowing to cleanse country of dirty money. And they identify the ways in which the construction industry facilitates the laundering of money, where the development is 100% self-financed and payments for labor and construction materials are made using mainly cash. Developer does not have a legitimate source of funds for the portion of the project that is self-financed. The expected cost of the completed project is significantly greater than the documented cost, and the developer sells units to persons for cash without a concern of the source of income. I would certainly like to see them
move on
this, because, I mean, as we speak now, many highly placed politicians and other persons are in that industry doing things that seem quite remarkable. And I'm almost wondering,
where they get the money from?
No, that we have all kinds of theories about where they get the money from, but I'm surprised that the government would announce this thrust when so many of their own are in positions of great vulnerability. This is interesting to me. So we're going to wait to see what happens. There are some construction plans that are the subject of court proceedings and so on. Construction projects that are the subject of court proceedings, even as we speak. And as far as I know, at least one was self-financed by a politician. And I'm curious to see whether they are going to turn the spotlight on it.
You know, as you focus on that, remember I came and I was relating to the fact that I saw we buy land for cash, houses for cash, and you were saying to me, yeah, man, you can pay cash. It's just that you don't go through the normal thing. I wonder if there's a relationship, because as you're saying, a lot of projects are happening and they are self-financed. They don't say, like you say, some may say Jamaica Mortgage Bank or say JMB doing it. So the question is, where did they get the money from? What are
But you see, when the FID, when the government does this, they cannot avoid bringing into play the financial institutions, because more often than not, some of the developments are partially financed. Undoubtedly, some of them involve they all involve persons who maintain bank accounts. And if you come to the conclusion that the money is from an illegal source, then everybody who participates in that chain would be up for scrutiny. It can't be just the developer.
To be the lawyers, the banks.
The lawyers, the banks, the people who sell material to them and collect the cash and so on, all of them would be involved. So this, if they were to succeed with this, they would cover a lot of other things. And it would have implications for many of their own. So it's one of those things where maybe they have a particular person in their scope and they're giving it a broadcast. But one thing I know, many things are meant for evil, and then they turn out to work for a very good purpose, which is one of the things that we have to remember about that prophetic book, which we spoke about this morning. There are many times in Bible history that you see a strategy is deployed to destroy someone else, and it turns out to work for the betterment of that person plus many others. Thank you all for participating in the show this morning. Go ahead, Pastor.
And as we close, be not deceived.
Yes, God is not mocked.
God is not mocked. And for the persons, what I've picked up is a lot of people have questions about the Bible, how we come to it and so on. And it's serious questions, because I've heard those questions before. But I just say to people that using the morning connection to try to answer it, it is so...
It's you, Pastor.
It's me detail.
It was just me alone. They wouldn't think that. But Pastor is like catnip.
No, but that's all right. That's all right. Because if people think, probably we need to do another program where we just answer all of those questions, and then work through the evidence that is there and saying, okay, this is one interpreted, this another. How do you come to where you're at? Because